And good afternoon, everybody. We are live. If you can hear me and see me in the chat, please let me know that everything is working fine. As usual, the chat thing has stopped working again. So, yeah, never mind. I'll remove that for now. But yeah, if you can hear me and see me okay in the chat, please let me know that everything is working fine. My name is Paul Grogan, and today I am going to be doing what feels like it was my destiny to do. This is Mage Knight. This is my #1 favourite game of all time. I've got a whole history about this game, which I won't go into here, but without this game I wouldn't be where I am now, which sounds a bit over-dramatic, but that's kind of how it is. Yeah, this game is a very much a big important part of my gaming history and what led me to do what I'm doing within gaming rules. Right, Nielsen, can you see the chat and people are saying it's okay?
Yeah,
excellent. Right, fantastic. So what today's video is going to be is a 3-player tutorial and playthrough video of Mage Knight. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be following the game walkthrough. So if you are an experienced Mage Knight player and you wanted to see 3 people take on the full conquest in the next 6 hours, come back next month when I have hooked these players on this being an amazing game and they want to play more. Today we're going to be going through the game walkthrough, and this is specifically designed for new players who know nothing about the game, which is you 3.
Yeah,
okay?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm joined today by Rick, who you can see on camera.
Hello.
We've also got Nielsen and Vashti that are not on camera today.
Hello.
But they are here.
Honest.
And the way that this game works, unlike a lot of the other videos that I've done, where I will deliver a full tutorial at the start and then we'll play, that's not what this is. This walkthrough manual will take you through the game step by step. We're going to probably be about 2 hours. Those 2 hours are going to be all learning, because the rules are going to be fed to you as certain things happen. So you're not going to get all of the rules up front. You're not, for example, going to find out what those skill tokens do until about 45 minutes into the game, because you actually don't need to know what they do at all. So the first scenario is first reconnaissance. It's a special scenario, and there are certain rules for this scenario which don't apply to the main game.
Okay.
For example, if we were playing a full game, at the start of the game we would create a spell offer of 3 spells. We would create an advanced action offer of 3 cards. It specifically says don't do that for this game.
Okay.
Because what will happen is players will be looking at the pretty pictures, reading all of the text and going, what does this do? Right, so normally when you play the game there are extra things that you would do which we're not doing for this first one.
Yep.
Also, these tiles have been seeded. These are in numeric order. That's for this scenario only. Normally you would shuffle them and it would be random what comes out.
Okay.
So again, it's a step-by-step walkthrough. Right, I'm now going to switch over to the multi-camera setup. Is the chat working? Yes, the chat is working. Right, yes, so thank you to everybody for joining in on the chat, and I can actually see it now. Excellent. Matthew's here, Johan's here, David is here, Christine is here. Awesome. Right, game walkthrough. So interestingly enough, the game comes with a rule book and a walkthrough. The rule book we don't need. Literally, you do not learn how to play this game with the rule book. It sounds odd. That rule book is all of the rules of the game, but they're written in a bullet point fashion that don't make any sense at all unless you actually know how to play the game from the walkthrough. So anybody who buys the game should literally put the rule book back in the box and start with the game walkthrough, and it takes you through it.
Okay.
There's a whole load of flavour at the start. Normally I read out flavour. I'm not going to, because it's quite a lot. But it tells you a bit of the backstory. Basically, you are all Mage Knights. Mage Knights are complicated, powerful beings. We don't try and understand what motivates them. But essentially, the first reconnaissance is a scenario. It's your first assignment as a Mage Knight. You have been ordered to travel to an unknown part of the Atlantean Kingdom, map it, and locate its capital, which is this. You've got to try and find the Blue City.
Okay. Okay.
For now, all the Council of the Void, that is all that the Council of the Void asks you. Any treasure, knowledge, and fame that you gather during this quest is yours to keep. Now, Mage Knight is a game which can be customised in a number of different ways. It can be played competitively, it can be played cooperatively. It is arguably the best solo game accidentally ever designed. He never designed it as a solo game, but it's arguably the best solo game ever. We're playing the competitive version today. So there is going to be a winner, and this is tracked on the fame board here. This is the fame track. You've each got a little marker at the start of the fame track, and whoever has the most fame at the end of the game is declared the winner. Although it's competitive, the amount of player interaction in this scenario is actually minimal.
Right.
You're not going to be attacking each other. You're not really going to be interacting with each other in many ways, apart from turn order. Somebody might get somewhere before you do. Okay?
Yeah.
That's really the only way. If you want to play the game with a more competitive outlook on it, there is a PvP option in the rules as a variant. Right? I've played this game about 50 times. I have never used the PvP variant.
Right.
So you can still play the game competitively without PvP. PvP introduces rules where players can actually attack each other.
Okay.
But that's a variant that you can use for the game.
Yeah.
That's not part of the game. It's interesting because some people say you should always play it with PvP,
Right.
and other people say never ever play with PvP. So it one of the one of the reasons I like this game is that you can customize it to your taste, and every option works. You've just got to it's whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Anyway, right. This scenario is designed for 2 to 4 players, although never play Mage Knight with 4. There you go.
Okay.
It's a bit long, there's a bit too much downtime, and people generally say don't play it with 4. So even though the game goes up to 4, 5 with the expansion, it is strongly recommended not to. Okay. Very high level overview of what the game is. It's divided into rounds. Each round is half a day. So we're going to start playing in round 1, which is the daytime.
Yep.
At the end of round 1, it's then nighttime, and round 2 will be nighttime. Round 3 will be daytime, round 4 will be nighttime, etc., etc.
Yep.
A full game of this is 6 rounds. So it's day, night, day, night, day, night. Mage Knights don't sleep. As in, they're not normal people, these Mage Knights. They are special, super-powered characters.
Yeah.
Today's game is probably going to last 2 rounds, maybe a little bit into the 3rd. You might do it in 2 rounds. If you don't do it in 2 rounds, you'll do it fairly soon into the 3rd round. Okay, just to give you an idea. Each round is subdivided into turns. The turn order track is here. I'm going to randomise these in a minute. But basically, this player will take a turn, then this player will take a turn, then this player, then this player, then this player. And you keep doing that. Okay? Each of you has a deck of cards. So you have 16 cards. They are your cards. They have your character icon in the top right. And to give you an idea of those cards, 14 of those cards are identical.
Right, okay.
So you each have exactly the same base deck of 14 cards. There are 2 cards in that deck with the artwork is your character.
Right, okay.
They are your special cards which tweak that character in a little bit because they all do work slightly differently. But it's those 2 cards. So 14 of those cards are exactly the same as everybody else. You will go through that deck once during a round. So there is a deck building element to this game, but you do not automatically shuffle your deck when it runs out. Okay? When your deck has run out, that is it for you for that round.
Right.
The other players, if they've still got cards left, they carry on playing, but when you've run through your cards, the round is over for you. So you're only going to go through, in a full game, you're going to go through your deck 6 times.
Right.
And that's it. Okay? But as I say, there's a deck building element to it. You'll be adding cards to your deck, which is one way that your heroes can improve. Skill tokens, level ups, all of that will happen as well. Speaking of level ups, you have these series of level counters here. Yeah, so what I'd like you to do is have a look at them. One of them on the front is blank. And I want you to put that one this side up in front of you here. This is a command token. This means that you can command 1 unit. Okay?
Yeah.
The other tokens, I'd like you to stack them face up in level order. So the 9 to 10 at the bottom.
Yeah.
7 to 8 on top of that. 5 to 6 on top of that.
Yeah.
3 to 4 and then 1 to 2.
Done.
And then you put that onto your character card. Dave's saying this is better than the Saturday morning cartoons. Excellent. So you are all level 1. You can see you're level 1 because you're on the first row of the fame track here. So you're all level 1, which means you have an armor value of 2 and a hand size of 5.
Okay.
Okay, that's what that means. When you level up to level 2, you've still got 2 armor and you've still got a hand size of 5. But when you go to level 3, your stats improve and this flips over and becomes another command token.
Right.
Okay, which means you can command more units. Again, first scenario, you're probably going to get to level 3, maybe 4. Full game, you're going to get to level 7, 8, 9, 10, and you're going to end up commanding a massive army. Right. So that's that. What else have we got? You've got your figure, you've got your skill tokens. Skill tokens should be shuffled.
Yep.
Your deck should be shuffled. Right, map tiles. This is where we're all going to start. So all of your figures are here on the portal. Let's see if we'll all fit on. This is where you've arrived, and your objective is to find the city. So although it's a competitive game, you have a shared objective, which is find the city. If you find the city, you win. Right, you're going to win, right? In terms of the objective of the game, but it's whoever's got the most fame at the end.
Okay.
There's actually two sides to this, depending on which scenario you're playing. First reconnaissance with 3 players uses this side, and if you look at the coastline, you're going to imagine that this coastline goes along here and goes along here. So the map is actually going to be laid out in a wedge formation as the game goes on. And what we do is we're going to populate the first 2 spaces with the first 2 tiles from the deck. This is during setup. And remember, these are in a specific order only for this mission. So we have number 1, and these are always laid out with the same orientation. So the circles and the stars must match up. 1 goes there, 2 goes there. Okay? So imagine there's a coastline there, there's a coastline there. So you can't go off exploring here, for example. Okay, they are the first 2 tiles there. Right, and what have we got? We've got a whole load of things. There's certain things that we need to put on the board right now, and that is these sword symbols represent Orc Khans, Khan, right? They are rampaging, ravaging enemies that if you kill them, people will be happy about it because they go around causing trouble.
Orcs.
So the game comes with a whole stack of these counters. Now, this is using the Ultimate Edition of the game, but we have removed all of the ones from the 3 expansions that came with the game. We're just playing the basic game. So whenever you draw a terrain tile or a land tile, whatever they're called, with one of those symbols on, we actually take the top tile from here and we put it face up from there. Okay?
But they've been shuffled.
They have been shuffled. Okay, I'm going to shuffle it a bit more because we had 2 the same there, which is fine, but I just want a little bit of variation. Now, all of these green tokens are not the same power level. I'm going to go into these in a lot more detail later on, but the number at the bottom in the red banner is the fame value if you kill them.
Okay.
So these are both worth 2, which means they should be the same power. If we'd have drawn one that was worth 3, it would be a tougher opponent.
Right.
Okay? The green ones are the easiest ones. The other colours will come out later on. They get progressively harder. This is a village. This is a magic glade. This is a green crystal mine. And this is a lake.
Nice.
Okay, so that is the initial setup. Now, the city that you're trying to find is in these bottom 3. It's somewhere there.
Okay.
I have chosen one of the cities at random. You're not supposed to know which one it is, but I'm putting it here. It's the blue one. And it was shuffled into these. So there's a city tile and there are 2 non-city tiles.
Right.
It's somewhere down at the bottom. Right. Now, we've done the player setup. We've explained where everything is. We've got the tile deck here. We've got other decks here that I'll explain as we go along. We've done the initial positions and we've explained that it's a wedge map. Now, the rulebook at this point actually goes into an explanation of all of the cards. I'm not going to do that just yet, but what I am going to do is I'm going to take the unit cards. So unit cards come in normal units and elite units, and we're actually going to create the unit offer, which I think you do at the start of the game. Unit offer, yeah. So we're going to take the normal units, we're going to give them a shuffle. At a certain point in the game, we switch to using these ones.
Okay.
But at the start of the game, we shuffle these and we place them out in a unit offer. And I'm going to apologise in advance if I get a rule slightly wrong. I will correct it, hopefully, during play. But I think you get 2 more than the number of players. I am just going to check that now. Regular units, as there are players, and then add 2 more. And for the first game, at least one of them should have that little icon on there, which it does. Okay, and in fact, I'm just going to swap these around, just so we've got that one with that icon, those 2 with that icon, and those 2 with that icon. So as long as one of the units has that icon on, again, only for this scenario. Normally, you would just shuffle them and lay them out. Tactics cards there, achievements, players, hero card. We've done all of that. We've done the player area. I've mentioned how you win, which is having the most fame. There is end of game scoring 2, which is this achievement card. I'll come on to this more later on, but there is end game scoring for doing certain things during the game.
Okay.
This is the day-night board. These are mana dice. Again, we have 2 more dice than the number of players in the game. So we have 5 dice. And what we have here is we have all of the different terrain types that are in the game and the movement cost, depending on whether it's daytime or nighttime.
Okay, yeah.
Now, Mage Knight has a reputation for having lots of rules that are exceptions, and people go, oh, it's too complicated. I find all of the exceptions in this game really easy to remember because they're thematic. So if you're moving through a forest during the daytime, it costs you 3 movement points rather than 2 to move through land. But at night time, if you've ever tried running through a forest at night, it costs 5.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Yeah.
Desert, during the day, is hot.
Mm-hmm.
You have to keep stopping. So it costs 5 movement points to move through a desert during the day, but at night time, it only costs you 3. So that's that. Lakes you can't move through, and mountains you can't move through. So what that there is the movement cost for all the different terrain types.
I see.
Yeah.
On the board. This here, this is known as the source. And what we're going to do at the start of each round is we roll all of the dice in the source, and that is the mana that is available right now. There's 6 different types of mana in the game. There's the 4 basic colours, which is red, blue, green and white. Then there is gold, which is special, and there's black, which is special.
Yep.
During the day, gold is a wild card.
Okay.
And black can't be used. At night, black is not a wild card. Black can only be used at night, and it can only be used for a special purpose. Right?
Okay.
But that's one of the things people get confused by. They think,
Yeah.
right, so gold is a wild card during the day,
Yeah.
but at night, black is not a wild card. Now, what's going to happen is, as the round goes on, these dice are going to get re-rolled. Anything that's black is actually depleted. It can't be used. So as the day's going on, more and more dice are going to get rolled, and the source is going to deplete of mana, which is quite a cool thing. So we've
Okay.
started off already with 1 depleted die.
Great
Right,
start.
that's the mana dice, and that's a quick mention about the basic mana colours. First round of the game. So before we start the first round, I am going to randomly determine, right, Rick, top, middle or bottom, what is a hotspot
What's
not?
a hot one? Hot. Middle.
Middle is red.
Okay, that one.
Okay, now, that isn't turn order.
Oh.
So there's something that happens at the start of each round, and that is you choose your tactics cards. We have 12 tactics cards in the game, 6 for the daytime, 6 for the nighttime. So I'm going to put these out here. And what's going to happen now, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit on camera for those people who want to see these a bit more.
Okay.
So in the order in which we have just chosen, that is the order in which you're going to choose tactics cards. But the number on the tactics cards is actually going to determine your turn order for the whole of this round. Right. So if you really wanted to go first right now, you'd choose this one with no special abilities.
Mm-hmm.
This is the most powerful one,
Okay.
but you're going to be going last.
Yeah.
This is done at the start of each round. So we're only going to do this probably twice today, maybe 3 times. Okay?
Yeah.
So this is going to determine your turn order for the whole of the first round.
Okay.
Have a read through them. If there's any that you're not sure about, because we haven't actually explained any of the rules of the game yet, before you choose your tactics, you can draw 5 cards. So you draw up to your hand size, and we're going to be playing with open hands today. I am missing messages in the chat, so I'll just let you guys talk amongst yourselves. So yeah, you've got your 5 opening cards in your hand.
Yeah.
Skipping ahead a little bit, just to let you know what's going to happen on your turn, you can play 1 or more cards from your hand, but any that you don't play, you can keep or discard. This isn't like normal deck builders where you play all the cards in your hand and then go on. You can choose which cards to play and which ones to keep.
Right, okay.
Okay, which is really, the game would not work without that. So, early bird, you'll go first, but no special abilities. Rethink allows you to discard up to 3 cards from your hand and then draw replacements and shuffle the ones you didn't want back into your deck.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Really, really good. Obviously, if you don't know the game yet and you don't know whether the cards you've drawn
A good, bad, or
are
indifferent.
good, bad, or indifferent, I'll go through them in a minute. Mana Steal is quite clever. So, again, skipping ahead a little bit, every turn you may use one die from here in order to power one of your cards and make it better. What Mana Steal does is when you take this card, you steal one mana from the source and put it on that card, and that basically means that only you can use that one.
Right.
Okay? So it can mess up other people, but it can also be like, oh look, is it a basic mana? Yeah, of a basic colour. You're like, oh, there's a red there. I really need a red at some point. I'm going to choose that tactic and I'm going to steal the red. And then nobody else can use it. Okay?
Yeah.
Planning. Once you've got one, if you've chosen this as a tactic, then at the end of every turn, if you've got at least 2 cards in your hand, you draw as if your hand limit was 1 higher, which effectively means draw an extra card.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Great start, immediately draw 2 cards. So your first turn is going to be good, because you're going to have 7 cards in hand instead of 5.
Right, yeah.
And the right moment is really awesome, but it does mean you'll go last, is one time this day you can announce that you're going to take 2 turns consecutively.
Okay.
So that's what the initial tactics do.
And Rick chooses first.
Rick chooses first.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got any questions, like are the cards in my hand good for the current situation?
Well,
I think we've all got that question.
I seem to have a mixture of cards.
Yeah, this is where if you knew how to play the game, you'd actually be working out exactly what you're going to do on round 1
Yeah.
right now. Because we have some enemies here. So one of you might want to go to the enemies and try and kill them. We have 2 villages. You can go to the villages and you can recruit. Right now you can only recruit these. That's what this little icon means. This little icon indicates where you can recruit them.
Mm-hmm.
So right now the only thing that's available to be recruited are the peasants. So if you wanted these, you want to be going early in turn order, get into the village and recruiting these. Recruiting these cost influence.
Right.
4 influence. If you don't have a card in hand that produces 4 influence,
Yeah, okay.
right, then you're not going to be able to recruit them. You've got one?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got promise.
So, number at the top and the bottom?
Yeah, so every card has a top effect and a bottom effect. You can play it for the top effect no matter what. If you want to play it for the bottom effect, you have to power it up using mana.
Okay.
So I mentioned you can use 1 mana dice from here each turn. So if you played that, powered by that,
So that bit in there.
that would be attack 4.
And then can anyone else use that mana?
That will then get re-rolled at the end of your turn and put back here.
Okay.
So they might be able to use it, but it might
Yeah,
be a
whatever it
different
is, it may be a different colour.
Yeah.
So yeah, which of those tactics cards do you
Wow.
want? Obviously, if you're teaching this to your friends at home, you'd probably want to explain more of the rules before you start. But we're kind of just going to jump into it today and,
Well, I like
and
the
learn as we go.
sound of a great start.
Okay, so you take this and
Why
you
not?
immediately draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
That is your tactic chosen. Right. Vashti, or Norowas to give you your official title. Which tactic card would you like?
Interesting.
Planning. Okay, so that just stays in front of you. So this is interesting. You could go first by choosing
Yeah, either
that
of
one, or
those.
that one, or that one. Or if you want to go last, you take that one.
Yeah. Is any of the mana particularly helpful to me? Not really.
Remember,
I guess I could
gold
use
is a wild
Gold is a
because
wild.
we're during the day.
And when it says ranged attack 3, is that 3?
Right. So ranged attack in
Spaces.
this game, no. Ranged attack just basically means you get to shoot them before they hit you.
Right, okay.
Okay. It doesn't mean that the combat can be done at range on the map.
Right, okay. So in order to attack anything, we would need to move into its hex.
Not these. The rules for attacking is slightly different. These enemies, because they're rampaging enemies,
Yeah.
there's actually 2 ways to attack them. You can either be on an adjacent hex
Yeah.
and say, I'm going to attack them as my action,
Mm-hmm.
or if you just move around near them, make a lot of noise, they come and attack you.
Right. Right.
So you don't even have to. I think it's called challenge them. You don't have to do that. You could say, if I move from there to there, they actually attack you, and that
Right.
counts as your action for the turn. And to give you an idea whether you think you can kill them or not, you need to play attack cards of this value or higher. So this has a 3 armor. If you play attack 3 or attack 4 or whatever, that will kill it.
This number.
The number at the top.
Oh, that would
This
be
number is.
That's it hitting you.
right.
And if you don't play block cards of that value, you're going to start taking damage.
Right.
So a ranged attack 3 would.
Ranged attack takes place so that the sequence of combat is ranged attacks first,
Yeah.
then they hit you,
Yeah.
then they deal damage to you if you didn't block them, and then you attack them.
Right.
So ranged attack will basically allow you to shoot them before they get to you. Quick note of warning, that has the fortification icon.
Mm-hmm.
It's immune to ranged attacks.
Right. So don't attack that one.
Don't attack that one with ranged attacks.
So rethink or mana steel is the choice, I guess.
So again, we're playing with open hands,
Yeah.
so you wouldn't see what the other people have got, but you have promise in hand.
Yeah.
You might want to go first.
Go
You might
get
want to go
that.
to a village and recruit the peasants.
Okay.
Potentially.
So I could move. Yeah.
You would need
and I'd
you would need to
them-
get into the village, so
Yeah.
that would be 2, 4. You'd need 6 movement points to get there, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 movement points to get there. So yeah, if you can generate 6 movement points and 4 influence.
I'd need 2 mana for that.
So there is another rule about playing cards. Any card can be played sideways for 1 move, 1 base attack, 1 influence, and something else that I can't remember. Block, yes.
Oh, I could use mana draw,
You could use mana draw.
which would get me an addition.
So I say you need
mana.
6 movement points.
Because
Oh yeah, mana draw.
So I could-
yeah,
So I could go for the mana steel.
yeah.
Yeah. To get one of them, and then use the mana draw to get the other one I need.
Well, mana steel allows you to actually use 2 a turn anyway,
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
because you steal 1, which you can use at any point. So there you go,
Right.
done.
Okay.
So you take mana steel as a tactic.
Yep.
Which of these do you want to steal? Can't be the gold one.
So the. So I need.
I guess the blue one.
I guess the blue one.
I mean, you're going to go
Move.
first anyway.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I think we're ready for round 1.
Right.
So we reorganise these based on the cards that you've taken. So
Okay.
Goldix is going to go first, then Norawas, then Arathea. Okay, and we have the first turn of the game. Now, because we're playing with open hands, obviously I'm going to get you two to watch what's going on carefully, but you also want to be thinking about what you want to do on your turn. And this is one thing that really helps with the downtime in this game, is with 3 players, what's recommended is that you take your turn
Yeah.
and you talk through exactly what you're doing, step by step, with Rick watching you like a hawk. Because it's easy to make mistakes. It's easy to forget that.
Right.
So
yeah.
literally, you would talk through your turn and explain everything you're doing, and Rick would be watching, while Vashti is planning her
Don't do
turn.
that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right,
so you
okay.
would be planning your turn while you're taking your turn and you're watching,
Okay.
and then on your turn, you'd be watching
Yeah.
while you're planning your turn. And actually, there's very little downtime if you play like that in a 3-player game. So for the first turn, we're going to go through your turn. So you can basically move
Yeah.
and then do an action
Right.
in that order. So you can't do an action and then move. You can't move, do an action and then move. It's you do all your movement,
Yeah.
and then you do one action. An action is either fight or interact,
Okay.
and that's it. So,
So
and you can play 1 or more cards from your hand.
if I play those 2 cards
So if you play,
with the mana.
so you play the stamina card powered by the mana
Yeah.
for move 4,
Yeah.
and then you play swiftness for move 2.
Yeah.
So there's move 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we move 6. So 2 movement points to move through clear
okay.
terrain.
Yeah. So that's
So Goldix rushes off.
4, 6.
Okay. So what you've done is you've actually moved into like the threat zone of this.
Oh yeah.
That's fine. Moving into it is okay.
Yeah.
Moving out of it is okay. But
Right.
if you were to move from one adjacent hex to another adjacent hex, it would attack you.
Oh okay.
Okay. Now the other thing I'm going to explain at this point is exploring. Exploring, you need to be on a hex adjacent to the edge and spend 2 movement points to explore.
Right.
So if you had 2 movement points left at this point,
Which Could use 2 of my cards to do that, but I'm
You
not
could.
going to. I'm going to
You're
not
gonna,
explore.
right. So, influencing. Interacting. Interacting is one of the things you can do in a village. There's actually 3 different things you can do in a village. The first one is you can try and recruit these by spending influence points. Another one is that you can heal if you were wounded. Nobody's wounded yet. In fact, there's a reference card. There's a reference card for everything in this game. So we're at a village. You can recruit, you can heal. Plundering I'm going to mention in a minute. But every location on the board has a corresponding card which reminds you of all of the rules. So all these rules that are in my head, thankfully they're all on these reference cards.
So we don't need to borrow you.
No, you don't need to borrow me. Everywhere you go is mentioned on one of these reference cards. So yeah, we're now in a village. So if you can generate 4 influence,
Okay. So if I can use the gold.
yeah, use the gold as a wild card.
Yeah.
And play promise.
Yeah.
So you're going to make him a promise. You've got 4 influence.
Yep.
You can recruit these.
Mm-hmm.
Now that influence is modified by your reputation.
Okay.
We have a reputation track here. Everybody's reputation right now is in the middle,
Which is naught.
which is naught. But let's say your reputation was here, then you've got a inherent +1 influence whenever you interact.
Okay.
Because word has spread that you're quite nice.
Yep.
If you do not nice things,
Like that friend card.
you'll end up down here. And if
Yeah.
you're ever on the X, you just can't interact. They just hate you so much. So this is your reputation track. Everybody starts off on 0. You've now got these peasants. This is a unit,
Okay.
so that goes underneath your command token or below your command token. You can't have another unit.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
you were to recruit another unit right now, you can, but it would replace the peasants.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so what the peasants do, the text box below,
Yep.
read those horizontal lines as if they were oars.
Yep.
So it can either attack or block 2,
Yep.
or influence 2, or move 2. And when you use it, you spend it. That count. The unit is now spent
Is that for a turn?
for a round.
For a round.
Okay.
Yep.
So Mage Knight, super powerful. They can keep going all day, all night. Units do one thing a day, or one thing during the day and one thing at night.
Right.
They can also be used to take wounds in combat. But we'll get to that when we get there. And this unit offer does not refresh until the start of the next round.
Okay.
Okay, so there are no more units that can be recruited in a village.
No.
We are done.
Okay.
You've
yeah.
moved.
Yeah.
You've done an action.
Yeah.
Would you like to now discard any of the other cards from your hand, or are you happy with them?
I think I'd discard the threaten.
Because you don't think you're going to be influencing for the rest of this day? That was a leading question. You're probably not. That is probably the right move.
Okay.
And this is one of the skills in the game, is knowing, oh, do I discard that card? Because remember, you're only going to go through your deck once in the
Right,
whole
yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah.
So that is a card gone. But for every card you've got rid of, you're going to draw back up to your hand size.
Yeah.
So by getting rid of it, you've
I
now
get something
more
else,
chance of drawing extra cards that you want. So
Okay,
you put that on your discard pile.
Yep.
You put those cards on your discard pile.
Yep.
We can get rid of that now because you've kind of used it, so we
Okay.
don't really need that anymore. And then you re-roll those dice, and you pop them back into the source. So we have a blue and we have a red.
Okay.
Okay, that is the end of your turn. But I'm going to mention the third thing that you can do in a village, and that is plunder. And the reason I'm mentioning it now is plundering happens when it's not your turn.
Oh, okay.
Right? Which might seem a little odd, but what Vlad has done is he's designed the game to try and reduce the downtime. So plundering is something you now may plunder that village at some point before it's your turn again.
Right.
Because what it does is it reduces your reputation by 1, and you draw 2 cards.
Okay.
And the reason why this is done when it's not your turn is so that you can then you can
plan.
like literally do it now, and then you can be planning ahead.
Right.
So if
Do
you wanted to,
draw up to your hand
oh yeah, you
size?
draw up to
Draw
your
on
hand size.
Fine.
Sorry, yeah, do that first.
Yeah.
And now, if you wanted to plunder the village, you could. Have a look at the cards in your hand, have a think about what you might want to do next turn. And if
Yeah.
you want to plunder, you can go ahead and do it. Right, meanwhile, Norowas. The other thing to mention about movement, and this is really important, is whilst you can move through other people, If the PvP rules are not turned on, which they're not, you cannot end your turn on a hex occupied by other players.
Right.
So you can't go to this village now and recruit. You wouldn't want to anyway, because there are no units left to recruit. But if there were, you couldn't, because Goldix is there, and his mighty presence puts everybody else off.
What do these do?
Magic Glades. Magic Glades do two things. Yeah. Okay. I thought there was a card for everyone, but I can't seem to find Magic Glades. I know what they do. They do two things. One, if you start your turn on a Magic Glade and it's daytime, you get one of these.
Oh.
This is gold mana.
Okay.
It goes here.
Yeah.
You can spend it on your turn. If it's still there at the end of your turn, you lose it.
Okay.
Okay, so it is temporary gold
And
mana.
that's wild, yeah. In the daytime.
If you start your turn on a Magic Glade during the daytime. If you end your turn on a Magic Glade, you can remove, well, it's actually the game term is throw away a wound card from either your hand or from your discard pile.
Right.
So they are healing places, but they also are a source of magic. So yeah, that's what they do. This is an interesting space here, because what you can do is you could move here, fight this, take a bit of damage, but then because you're on a glade, automatically heal one of those damage, and then next turn get a free gold mana. So this space is actually a really good space if you wanted to attack that.
Yeah.
Might be what I was planning to do.
Might be what you were planning to do. Shh, don't tell them. The complexity grows nicely through the game. It's not that overwhelming with the epic fights in the end. Yes. Yeah, if we were to explain now how the city combat worked, nothing against you, it would be... But yeah, the way that this game, as I say, it grows in complexity as we go along.
Okay.
Have you decided whether you're plundering yet? Is it? You don't have to decide just yet. You've got time.
So would that move me to -1?
It would move you. No,
Or
it would
to
move
the
you.
next space.
Yeah, it'd move you to the next space down.
Okay.
You gonna do it?
Yeah, yeah. I'm going.
Okay. So you go around and steal some people's stuff.
Yeah.
And just draw 2 cards.
Okay.
Okay. So Norobas.
I've got 6 moves. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
So
You've no fighting. You've no influencing.
Yeah, and you could boost it with one of these,
Yeah. Yeah. Remember, you get 1 mana per turn from here.
which means you can do the thing at the bottom.
Yeah.
Which is more moving, pretty much.
Yeah. Now there's a crystal mine here. If you end your turn on a green crystal mine, you will get one of these, but you actually put it here.
Okay.
So these tokens are interesting, and some people don't like this, and I think it's genius. They're either mana if they're here, or they're a crystal if they're here.
Okay.
Right? So the same token is used for mana or a crystal, depending on where it is.
Yeah.
The difference is mana will disappear at the end of your turn. Crystals you keep.
Right.
You put them in your backpack. What does a crystal do? You can use it as mana. So it's like,
But it's a one-off use.
but it's a one-off use, and your backpack can actually hold 3 crystals of each colour. And there can never be gold or black crystals. Gold and black mana only ever exist in mana form.
Does this
That's for the solo game.
Okay.
Yeah. So landing here and getting a green crystal is quite good, because then you've got effectively a green mana whenever you want to use it at some point during the game.
Okay. I'll do that.
And it would take you.
And if you've no
5
fight and you've no move, then that's probably what you want to do.
Okay.
You don't have any fight at all?
No.
No,
Yeah.
which means you're going to draw some.
Okay.
Yeah, because you know that there are fight cards in that deck, they're just going to come out at some point.
Okay.
So yeah, to get here, you can take this way round, which is 5 movement, or you could go that way, which is 6 movement.
And it depends on how many cards you want to use up.
Yeah.
As well, I guess.
Yeah.
Because you could use.
You don't have to use all the movement. Because move
You
2,
do.
you can move
no,
1.
you can move 1. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just thinking rather than using 3 cards, you could use 2 cards.
use 2
with
cards.
Mana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're saving the movement.
Always use a mana from the source if you can.
So
So if you took the green.
Things are sort of
If you
hard
put
to
your
look
cards that you're playing sort of up here,
this one.
yeah.
because I don't know what the mana's going to be when it gets to my
No.
turn.
So that's move 4.
Colours wise.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, 3 of them.
So
Ashley's taken 1.
your options now are
Yeah.
play stamina for another 2 movement, or you might want to keep that, because movement is really valuable. Remember, any card can be played sideways
Oh yeah.
for move 1. So if there was another card that you had in your hand that you think, oh, actually, what's that one there?
This one.
No,
Manager.
that one.
Rejuvenate.
Rejuvenate.
Remind me what it does. It's heal and draw a card, is it?
Gain a green mana token.
Okay. Oh, that's quite good then. So you could actually play that to gain one of these in addition to the one that you would use from here. What I'm thinking is if you weren't going to use that card,
Yeah,
you might want to
use
play
it to
that
move
sideways for
it.
one movement. But actually, I think that card's a really good card.
And the other one's mana draw.
Which again could be really good at the right time.
Decisions are
So I
hard.
should just turn that one.
It's a decision time. It's either play your stamina or your other
March.
as movement and then just waste one of the movement points, or play one of the cards
So
sideways.
what does she need? 5
You're going to
movement?
get a
Just 5
You're
movement.
going to get
Yeah,
a
that's
green
4.
crystal, aren't you, for there? So if you I use that one.
So you turn it sideways,
Yeah,
don't
good
discard
call.
it?
Well, actually, you just need to play it as move 2.
Yeah,
So
you
that
can
one.
just put it up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right back down.
As move 2. So you've got move 6. So we'll say you go the long way around because it's the pretty way. There you go.
Like forests.
Okay, and then that's it. So you may discard any number of cards from hand if you wanted to.
Okay.
I'd be tempted to
If
keep
you have
them.
at least 2.
Yeah, we'll do that in a second. Those cards go to your discard pile.
Okay.
You get a green crystal
Just
because
turn
you've
off
ended
there.
your turn on the mine,
Okay.
and the mine has a card. He says, "I think I'm missing some cards."
Getting that impression.
And then re-roll the mana dice,
Reroll the mana dice.
which stays green.
Draw back to your hand size, but then +1 because of the planning. There we go. Crystal mines. If you end your turn on a mine, gain 1 mana crystal of the colour that the mine produces. Yeah. So there we go. They are the things that we have found so far. And I think you're done. So now you've got 6 cards in hand for next turn, and you've got a green crystal, and you rolled the dice and put it back.
Yep.
And
Stay
now,
green.
and now it is Arathea, who had a
Right.
great start,
Did. Got lots of cards to
lots
do.
of cards.
So, I'm going to move 4 using the blue mana.
So you're going to take the blue mana,
Yeah.
you're going to put it on there, so you've got 4 movement points.
Yeah. I technically need 7
Where are you going to go?
here.
Oh, you are going to go there, right?
Go into the glade.
So technically I need 7.
No one knew he was doing that.
No.
What we got there? 2 reds. Okay, cool. So I'm going to use concentration to gain another blue.
So gain a blue, white,
red,
or
mana.
red mana token.
I can use that now.
There you go. If you don't use it, it's gone. No, that's here. That's a played card.
Okay.
Then you put that there. So you've got 8 movement.
To move into here.
Yeah.
And
So
she's
that's your
fast.
movement done,
yeah.
right?
And then I'm going to attack those
Okay.
there orcs.
So we go into combat.
Yes.
So combat, as I mentioned, is 4 steps. The first step is called the ranged and siege attack phase,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
which is where you play ranged and siege combat.
Mhm.
The difference between range and siege is that icon there. That can't be hit by ranged combat, so it can only be hit by siege combat.
Yeah.
If it doesn't have that icon, ranged and siege is exactly the same. It's just two forms of ranged combat, ranged and siege.
Mhm.
So do you have siege attack 3? The answer is no, because nobody has any siege attack cards at the start of the game. He says, no, siege attack. Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Well, you got siege attack 2.
But not that.
Not enough. Not enough. You would need siege attack 3
Yeah.
to kill it now.
That's fine.
So that's phase 1 done.
Uh-huh.
Phase 2 is it's going to hit you, and it's going to hit you for 3
Uh-huh.
damage. You can block it.
Yeah.
If you don't block it, and you have to block it in its entirety,
Mhm.
you will take 3 damage. So if you had block 2 at this point, you wouldn't bother playing it. Because it's attacking for 3, so you either play block 3 or none at all.
Right.
Right? There's no such thing as a partial block. He's
Discard-
eager to play a card.
Discard another card from your hand to get move 3, influence 3, attack 3,
Okay.
or block 3.
So this is a really useful card, and everybody has this in their deck, so we're going to explain it now.
Yeah, I got that one.
When you play this card, you have to discard another card from your hand in order to activate it. Okay? And you're going to discard that, so that goes straight to your discard pile.
Yep.
So you're discarding another card from your hand to get block 3. Right, so there's the block.
Yep.
You've now got to hit it, and you've got to do 3 points of attack.
So I'm using the mana on this red rage card.
So you're taking the red mana from the source,
Yep.
and you're going to play Rage
Yep.
and do attack 4,
Splat.
and it's dead. right? And there is a combat. So that's how the combat works in this game.
Yep.
There's no dice rolling. It's all a mathematical puzzle with the cards that you've got, but it's all visible. Yeah?
Yep.
You could have worked out this ahead of time and know exactly what you were going to do, which Rick has.
Mm-hmm.
So the orc is dead.
Splat.
A few things happen here. You get the fame that's shown on the bottom of the card,
Mm-hmm.
which is 2. So Arithea is on 2 fame. And special rule about the orc Khans is this printed on here? I thought it was. Anyway, maybe there's another card. Because they're not liked, you get 1 reputation. There you go. So word has spread that
I'm
this
not kidding.
this mysterious woman in like a BDSM outfit
Yeah.
has turned up, killed some nearby orcs, and everybody goes, she's all right, she
Oh.
is.
I used 2 dice from the source.
Did you use 2 dice from the source?
Is that
You
not-
did. You can't do that. Thank you very much. He's cheating. Right, let's undo that.
Okay, in which case, not to worry.
You can still do it.
Those 2 cards being attack 2 and attack 2.
There you go. Yeah, so you can still do it, you just don't use the dice from the source.
I had another.
There you go. So you had to use all of your cards from your hand. I mean, that is your
Yeah.
special card,
Yeah.
but that's what you needed to do. So you have done it, you have got the reputation. Thank you for that. I wasn't paying attention. That is dead. You got your reputation, you got your fame.
Yep.
That was spent.
Yep.
That gets re-rolled.
Green.
And all of your cards go in your discard pile.
Uh-huh.
So there you go. Ricky's 7 cards through his deck.
Yeah,
no,
right.
8.
Yeah.
Because you used improvisation. So you're 8 cards through your 16 card deck.
No, 6, no, I'm 7. Yeah. 'Cause improvisation uses a card from my hand, not from my deck.
Oh, from your hand, yes. Right, so you draw back up to your hand size.
Just 5.
And now we go to Goldix's.
5. Now, do I get special things for being on here?
Oh, yeah.
At the end of my turn.
Yeah, you can
Heal, but I'm not
throw
damaged.
away a wound from your hand or from your discard pile. So this is the thing. You blocked it.
I did.
You didn't need to.
Okay.
If you hadn't
How much
blocked
damage
it,
would I have taken?
It's damage divided by your armour, rounded up.
Oh, okay.
So you would have actually taken 2 wounds, one of which would have healed straight away.
Yeah.
So this is a learning game.
But 2 wounds. I still would have had a wound then.
You would have had a wound,
Yeah.
but you might have wanted to do that
Where would that wound go?
into your hand. And
Okay.
it clogs up your hand
Yeah,
while it's
right.
there. It's a dead card. But because of Arithea's special abilities, having wounds is actually quite good.
Oh. Okay.
Never mind, it's a learning
Never
game.
mind.
But that's the thing. Sometimes in this game you think, okay, I need 3 block to block it. You don't have to block it. Sometimes
Right.
taking the damage is the right thing to do.
Okay.
What about the arm?
Okay, your turn. You have a massive hand of cards.
I do.
2 of them from Dave's stables that you stole last night.
Yeah.
But we won't mention that.
No, Dave's over here.
Dave's over here. Oh right, so you recruited him
Yeah, yeah.
and then robbed all the stuff from his
Well,
house.
while he wasn't looking. Yeah. While he was asleep.
Right. Any thoughts on what you might want to do this turn?
Well, I was thinking to attack the orcs
So okay.
and explore.
So you would do that. The explore would go
Explore
first,
first.
because that's part of the movement.
That's move, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it would be 2 movement points to explore.
You
Okay.
don't actually move though. You just create.
No,
a tile.
you just say I'm going to explore.
So I'll play that. March.
Now you're going to play it for 2 move.
What would be the benefit of doing it?
If you played it for 4, what would happen is you'd spend 2 on exploring,
Yeah.
and then you'd spend the other 2 on potentially moving.
Right. Okay. Depending on what gets revealed.
But what you can't do is you can't reveal the tile and then say, oh, actually, I would have boosted it. So this
Right.
game has a rule in the game. It's in the rule book about
Yeah.
reverting. Anything you do, you can rewind and undo unless new information was revealed.
Right.
And the reason that is in the rule book is when we start getting to the later combats where it's really complicated, you'll be like, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll tap this, I'll use a mana from here, I'll do that, and then somebody goes, oh, wait a minute, you can't. Oh, right. I'll undo that, I'll do something different. Okay? So the game allows you to do that, but as soon as any new information has been revealed, effectively that's your
Yeah.
save game point. You can't go back beyond there.
Yeah.
So you need to make the decision at this point whether you're going to play it as move 2 or move 4.
Okay. Do I have to move?
Nope.
So I could, or I could play 2 cards. To
Or
do move
you
4,
could
yeah.
play that to
Yeah.
explore, and then if there was something nice here, play
You
another
play
card
another move.
and carry on moving.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
You can't choose to upgrade that with a mana after it's been revealed.
Correct.
No, that's
Can't.
what.
Because
yeah.
you must decide when you play the card
Yeah.
whether you're going to power it up or not.
Do I want 2 or 4? I'm
Yeah.
not going to power it up.
So yeah, Art Deco is saying your best move would have been concentration and battle versatility for siege attack 4. See again.
Siege attack 2 only on here though.
Yeah, but oh yeah, he doesn't have concentration.
Oh,
You did
I
have
did.
concentration. Yeah, so you could have played concentration with the green mana, which would have allowed you to play another card and make another card better.
Play this, play another action card with it. Get
Yeah.
the stronger effect of that card for free. Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, advanced strategy.
Yeah, I've read that a bit more.
Okay, so
Right.
move 2.
I'm going to move to
Okay, so we take the top tile from here, and you're exploring here.
Yeah.
If you were on a space where it could explore 2, you would have to declare now which way you're exploring. Oh look, we've got tile number 3. What a surprise. Now, special rule only for this scenario. Every time you explore, you get 1 fame,
Oh, okay.
because the theme of this scenario is exploring, but it's
Right,
only
okay.
for this scenario. And that's that 2 movement points used.
Yep.
So remember, if you do move from here to here,
That's gonna-
you will provoke an attack which
Yeah.
counts as your action. Which means you can't then.
I can't then do something
anything
else.
there.
Right.
But before you decide, we have this. This is a white crystal mine.
Mm-hmm.
We know how that works. Same as this one, but for white. And this is a keep. So we have a new card.
So that's where we could recruit these.
Yeah. We have a new card, the keep. Whenever a keep is revealed, we take a grey token and we put it on here. These are the occupants of the keep. If you end your move, well, not end your move, if you move to an adjacent space to the keep and it is daytime, the token is revealed.
Right.
Thematically, if you think about it, if it's daytime, if you stood nearby, you can see who's in the keep. If it's nighttime, it's not revealed. You'd have to actually assault the keep and then you don't know what's in it.
Right. Okay.
Okay? The grey tokens are more dangerous than the green ones. That's all I'm going to say for now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and also the keeps are good guys. So if you assault it, you lose a reputation.
And you can get these guys there.
Yeah. But if you do assault it, you'll kill what's inside, you'll get the fame, and you will be able to recruit these.
Oh.
And owning a keep is quite cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the keep.
Not much to think about then. Right.
Do you want to carry on moving? You've got lots of move cards in hand.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have. I was thinking of using that one for the attack, but then we haven't got any mana for that. So, how much move do I need to get to the white crystal place? That's 5.
Well, you
isn't it?
can't. Because as soon as you move here,
Oh,
your turn ends
right. Okay.
and you get attacked.
And that's going to happen unless I move.
Yeah,
backwards.
unless you go all the way back around here and all the way around here.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
No. You
No.
probably want to move 2 and just fight these orcs.
Okay. Yeah. So could I not just fight them without moving?
You can. As your action, you can challenge the orcs.
Right.
But because you've got lots of move cards in hand,
Yeah.
you might want to move here anyway, just so you're a bit
Oh, a bit
further ahead.
further on.
Yeah.
Okay. I will go for a. We'll go with that one,
Okay.
and we'll move.
2 movement points to move there. So,
To there.
angry orcs. Okay, so we initiate combat. First phase of combat. Do you have ranged attack 3?
No, because I haven't got the mana for it.
No way of getting the mana?
No, it's swirly mana.
It is white, swirly mana.
Yeah. No.
No? Okay, so they're going to hit you for 4 damage.
Okay.
So 4 damage, if you're going to need 4 block.
Yeah.
If you don't get 4 block, it's 4 damage, which, based on your armour value of 2, is going to be 2 wounds,
Which will go here and.
which will
clog
go
up
into
my
your hand. Or you could actually put the peasants in the way, and because the peasants have got 3 armour, that would soak up 1 of the wounds. So 4 damage, the way to think about it is 4 damage.
Yeah.
The peasants go in the way and take a wound. That's 3 of the damage soaked up. There's still 1 left,
And I'll get that.
and you get that.
Right.
And that will deal. So if you don't block 4, it's either 2 wounds to you,
Yeah.
or 1 wound on the peasants and 1 wound on you.
What happens to the peasants? They die.
No, they get wounded. The wound card will go over the peasants, and you can't use them until they're healed. And to heal them, you have to play a heal effect equal to their level.
Right.
So heal 1 would heal them. So that's if you don't block them. Do you have a way of generating block 4?
I do with the improvisation card with a mana of
Okay.
red. Although I'm tempted just
There's
to.
another way you can get the block 4.
There is.
There is.
I could use all 4 cards. Turn them
That's
sideways.
another way. But there's another way.
Peasant's got
Dave.
a block.
Oh, they've got block 2.
Dave's ability is block 2, so you could use Dave's block 2 combined with your Rage's block 2 and
Okay.
make the block 4. I'm not saying you should. I'm just
Yeah.
there's multiple ways to skin a. What's the phrase?
Rabbit.
Cat.
Cat.
You don't skin cats.
No.
I thought it was multiple ways to skin a cat, and then I
Yeah,
thought, but you don't
cats.
skin cats. So,
They don't like it much.
Some people
No.
are horrible cat skinners.
I'm actually think I'm just going to take
also,
damage.
the enemy in the keep is fortified. Yes, that's true. Enemies in keeps automatically have the fortification icon, so ranged attack does not work against them.
Right.
You need siege attack, unless it has got the fortification icon, which means it's double fortified, and not even siege attack works.
Right. Okay.
Okay. But anyway, thank you.
Peasant for block 2, rage for block 2, improvisation for attack 3.
He's working out what you can do. Don't listen to him.
So I can use them to block
You can.
part of it.
Well, no, you either block 4 or none at all.
None at all. Right.
There's no point doing a partial block.
Because I need the attack 3, don't I? Which I could use the attack 3 from improvisation.
You could, yeah.
So I either use them and discard 2 cards, or that.
Yeah, probably that.
I'll go with that and that.
Okay, so you spend the peasants by putting
Okay.
the counter on, and you
Yeah.
play that. So that's the block 4.
Right.
So you take no damage, and now you need attack 3.
Which is improvisation.
Improvisation.
Just discard another card.
Yeah.
Uh,
Now you haven't used a mana from the source. You don't have to use a mana from the source.
But double powered things are good.
Yeah.
what?
But you
So
don't.
if I attack 5 rather than attack 3, basically, I'll still kill it, won't I? With a 3, what would be the benefit?
What does
So if
mana
I do
draw
that, so if I
at the
do
bottom
that
of the card?
with that, yeah, and discard another card from your hand. So if I was to discard that march,
Yeah. For attack 5.
yeah,
It's
for
only got
attack
health
5,
3, isn't it? Or has it got...
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You don't need to use the red mana at all.
yeah,
But by using it, you're re-rolling and putting it back.
okay, which might give me a
Which might give you more choices
Yep.
next turn.
okay,
What is
yeah,
the benefit? Oh, they haven't really white ones anyway, have you?
no,
No.
So you can't
that's
the
what I'd
benefit-
like.
yeah.
Benefit of mana draw is use another mana this turn. Okay,
Yeah.
so the orc has been splatted.
Yeah.
You get 2 fame, and because you got 1 fame from exploring,
Okay,
you've leveled up. Leveling up happens at the end of your turn, and again, that is designed to reduce downtime because you can actually be doing all of this stuff while the next player is taking their turn.
right, okay,
So you're going to level up at the end of your turn. Also, you get 1 reputation. So we've all forgiven you for stealing Dave's cabbages
yeah,
Killed those orcs.
because you just killed the orcs that were causing trouble in
Dave's
their,
forgiven me.
then
Nice.
their hills. And your turn is done.
Okay,
So would you like to spend discard any remaining cards from your hand?
no,
Okay. So the mana dice gets re-rolled. Oh, so you didn't want to use it because you're giving people gold mana. They go to your discard pile. You
Yeah.
draw up to your hand size of 5. And you're in a new village. Remember what you can do in village when it's not your turn.
Plunder.
oh, I can plunder.
Okay, you can plunder. But before you plunder, we're now going to do your level up.
Okay,
So when you reach an even numbered level up, 2 things happen. The first thing is you've got your skill tokens that were shuffled.
yep,
Okay, reveal the top 2 of them and place them here. Okay, choose one of them, and that is your skill for the rest of the game.
okay,
And they're all explained on your skill card, but I will try and remember what they do, not having played this game in 4 years. This is a once per round thing, which is what that flippy arrow means.
yeah,
So once per round, you can flip it over to get 2 points of healing.
okay, cool,
Okay, which allows you to heal wounds from hand or can heal your units. This one means that when you turn up to a village or you're trying to interact, or not just a village, but when you're trying to interact anywhere,
yeah,
for each different coloured crystal that you have in your backpack,
Oh,
they
okay.
go, oh, look at him, he's cool, he's got loads
You
of
like him?
crystals.
right,
So yeah, if you turned up somewhere with 4 different coloured crystals in your backpack, that's 4 free influence that you've effectively got for... Is that what it says on there?
yes,
There you go, I've remembered.
exactly correct.
There we go. So which one of those would you like?
My instincts say to keep the healing.
Okay, so that's yours.
Yeah.
That one
Yeah.
actually goes over here. And when other people level up, they could choose that one instead of their own. Yeah, you can
Interesting.
actually learn other people's
We didn't say that.
or
No.
people's skills. Right.
Interesting.
There's something else that happens as well. And I mentioned about an hour ago that there are certain things of the setup that we haven't done because it's the first game. So normally when you play the game, you would take the advanced action deck at the very start of the game, you would shuffle it, and you would lay out 3 cards in the advanced action offer. Now, these are actually supposed to be placed vertically here. I'm just going to put them here for now, but I'm going to treat this as the bottom card. So card at the bottom, middle card, top card. You get one of those cards and you put it on top of your deck.
Oh, for levelling up.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Sorry, and this should have happened before you refreshed your hand size. So apologies for that, but those extra
There's
cards that
3,
you've just
isn't
drawn there,
Yeah.
pop them back on your deck quickly. Yeah, this happens before you draw up.
Right.
Carl's here from N20 Games. Game you've always wanted to play but not had chance. Yeah, a lot of people have been in that position.
So attack.
Yeah, and check out how good these cards are. These are
That's 3.
Yeah.
these are good.
Or play mana.
That's really
You two
nice.
having to think about what you want to be doing on your turn?
Potentially.
Ooh, that's tricky.
Depends what it's going to be over there, really. Well, there's a gold one now, isn't there?
Oh, that's I don't know. That's tough to decide between the
Mhm.
Blood Rage and the Pure Magic. Depends whether we're going to be doing lots of fighting or not. Which I guess that
Well-
one's better. That's more versatile, I think.
Okay, so that goes on top of your
Take that
deck.
one.
Yeah, refresh.
It does refresh. The advanced offer deck does refresh.
Oh.
So then that would become
That would become your first
Part
card
of my
that you've
hand.
drawn.
Yeah.
Right, your go is done. Remember,
Okay.
you can plunder at some point.
for 1 reputation and 2 cards.
There we go. Right, so it is now Noroas's turn. And what do you want to do? And again, because we're playing open hands, feel free to help each other discuss options and what you might want to do.
Green is out there at the moment. So that concentration is good if you boost it up with a green source because it allows you to take a better option of another card for free with a +2.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I didn't do last time, but I
You could
realised.
have
Well, I don't think I could because I used my
So
source.
just take it.
I had to get a blue thing from it to be able to move to that location, otherwise I wouldn't be able to move. I gained a blue mana token by using this, and there was no green source. And I had to use the other blue.
There was green in there.
A blue source to move 4,
Yeah.
and then a blue token to move my other 4. To
I
move
thought
8 there.
there was a green in there.
What does your noble man?
No, but then I wouldn't have been able to move there.
Oh, is that for influence?
Oh, right, okay.
If I can't move there, then I couldn't have
That's
done it
when you,
anyway.
like,
Anyway.
trying to recruit somebody.
Yeah. So unfortunately, because there was only one unit in the offer that had the village symbol on,
There isn't.
yeah, there's nobody here worth recruiting.
I have to go here and recruit.
Have you got lots of movement?
No, 2.
You've only got 2.
Yeah, you could boost it to 4.
Yeah. So that you probably want to boost it to 4.
But then again, if
But then if
you
you use
boost that,
concentration,
that would be 6.
Oh, there you go. The 6 movement.
so
So
one of
that
them
would get you to here.
goes on your.
Yeah. So you're playing the bottom effect of concentrate, which is to discard another card?
So play another card.
Play another
You play,
card.
this
Play
action,
another card.
play another action card with it. Give the stronger effect for free. If that gives you move, influence, block, or any type of attack, get that amount +2.
Yeah, there you go.
6.
So you
So-
play concentrate with March, and you've got move 6.
Okay.
Okay. So move 6 will allow you to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and explore.
Okay.
Okay. So you found
Nice.
tile number 4,
Away.
which goes here. Remember, this is a coastline here.
Yeah.
Exploring gets you 1 fame in this scenario, and only in this scenario. And we have found a wizard's tower in the desert.
Ooh.
Right, wizard's tower, another type of site to explain. Wizard's towers are very similar to keeps, in that I'm going to put a token on there. It is face down, but if you go next to it during the day, you'll see what it is. You attack a mage tower by being next to it and actually moving into it, which is an assault, you have to pay the terrain cost of the thing. So the orcs, you could actually attack them from the adjacent hex.
Right.
The keeps and the mage towers, you have to actually move onto the space.
Right.
It
okay.
counts as an assault. Because the mages are good guys, that will lose you 1 reputation. But you fight a purple enemy. Purple enemies are more dangerous than grey ones.
Ooh, escalate.
Okay. However, they reward you with a spell.
Mm.
Spells are another type of card that we haven't seen
Super
that
strong.
are very, very strong abilities, but they require mana to use. And we have another village over here. And we have another orc. So I'm going to take another orc, put it there. Okay, a nice, simple one. So, lots of options. Would you be able to kill that orc?
Can you still
Have
move?
you got 3 attacks somewhere?
No, I've got. Well, I've got attack 4. If I.
With another mana though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you've got mana draw.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm thinking ahead here. You could potentially play mana draw to use this,
Yeah.
put that on the rage, and there's your attack 4. So if we can get you into a fight with this, you can kill it.
How do you, well,
So
you
can you get move 2?
by tapping the other 2
You,
cards?
you could just play the other 2 cards sideways.
Well, this one.
Yeah.
Herbal manas and rejuvenate.
Yeah, you could. It again.
And you can end on here then and get a.
No, that would be move 3.
Oh, would it?
Yes, if I do that.
It's whether you want to, because you're using 2 cards that are quite good.
Yeah.
Although noble manners, because there are no other units in the offer, maybe not. And then your planning ability wouldn't kick in because you'd end the turn with no cards. And this is where the skill in the game comes in: is knowing what is the puzzle, is what is the right thing to do. And your other option is, if you don't do that, is you've kind of had a bit of a turn where not much has happened.
You
No.
can plunder this town at the end, can't you, if you stay in the town.
Yeah, you could plunder the village.
That would be move 4 though, yeah.
Yeah. Well, in fact, you could
This
have plundered the village.
That village.
Maybe
Oh no,
just
you were
move
here,
there.
weren't you? Yeah. Yeah, it's whether you decide to end your turn here, plunder the village, and then have a good turn next turn, or do you want to push ahead? The other advantage of pushing ahead, just thinking about this, is you'd move to here, you'd see this. Which means next turn, you could actually plan whether you could attack it or not.
It's whether you want to have what 6, 8 cards potentially next turn. Now.
Oh yeah, if you you
Yeah.
ended your turn
If you stop
here,
there, you can have 8 cards.
with the planning and the pillaging, you could start next turn with 8 cards.
Mm.
There, you've got lots of options in this game. I don't know which one the best is.
Okay, well, if I stop there and do the pillaging.
Mm-hmm.
Adam's online.
Adam's online. Hi Adam, thank you for joining in. Matthew is
Just
saying
leave
there's
those
numbers
there.
on them. Yeah,
So-
there's numbers on the tiles so you know the orientation.
So if that's the end of your turn, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to roll that.
Okay, so the
Goes
red
back
goes
in.
back in here. So
They go
those
to
2 cards
discards.
get discarded.
And then
You draw up to your hand size plus
So that-
1.
take it back to 6. And then when Rick's having his go,
You want to pillage?
no one's watching, you'll pillage.
Yeah, so we drew your reputation down by 1. I thought Norowas was supposed to be nice. Clearly not.
And then you take 2 more.
You draw 2 more cards. And you're going to have an epic turn next turn.
Yeah,
Okay.
a great start.
Yeah. Well, next turn, what you want to do is you want to move to here
So you've got
and then have a look at this.
Right.
Because if you can then kill this, it's probably worth doing it.
Okay, I've got
But these are really, really tough. Okay,
So,
so
I'm going to be moving because I want to do investigate.
Before you move,
Before I move, I
you've
get a gold.
started your turn on a magical glade.
Oh, sweet.
Have a gold mana token.
It's very handy.
And because he's got that from there, he could still take
Yeah.
a dice from there.
Now,
Yeah, when you play the full game,
Seems critical to take something
Yeah.
from here, really.
when,
every
when
turn,
you
yeah.
get near the end
Another
of the full
gold.
game, you'll be using like 8 mana on your turn.
Right, okay.
I mean, it's insane the stuff that you do in the full game.
so
It's all
chances
leading
are I'm
to a
not going to
massive
influence anything at the moment, am I? I don't think.
There's the lake. You could try and influence the lake.
Lady of the Lake.
Yeah.
Foster, yeah, okay. So I'm going to move 4 with that.
Okay.
And then I'm going to tap that one to say 5.
Okay. So that goes there. So you've got 5 movement points.
Yeah. So 3 to move in the thing
Yeah.
in the daytime, and then
And
2
then
to do
explore runes.
and explore.
So tile number 5 goes there. So I'm going to give you a fame. So
Yep.
you're going to level up at the end of your turn.
Yep.
And what have we got? We have a blue crystal mine. We know how that works. We have a magic glade. We know how that works. We have another orc Khan token. Ah, nasty.
Lots of orcs.
We have the witch doctor,
Yeah,
and we have a monastery.
Witch Doctor. Flip.
So first of all, I'll explain the witch doctor. Right, the witch doctor is worth 3 fame, so you already know it's a tougher monster.
Yeah.
It's got 5 armor, so you need to hit it with attack 5.
Gosh.
It hits you for 3, but it's poison.
Oh.
What poison means is you take an extra wound. For every wound you take, you actually take an extra wound. Okay? And the monasteries are like improved villages.
Okay.
Okay? So monasteries have various options. The first thing you can do at a monastery is you can recruit, and it's that icon there. So these 2 things here
I'm now recruiting.
can be recruited at the monastery.
But I've just got rid of my
Okay.
influence card.
The other thing you can do at a monastery is you can heal. Now, we didn't mention healing at a village, or if I did, I've forgotten. But healing at a village, you use 3 influence for 1 heal. At a monastery, it's 2 influence for 1 heal. Okay? Every time a monastery is revealed, we actually take a card from the advanced offer and we put it here in the unit offer. So from the advanced action deck, and we put it in the unit offer. This represents the knowledge of the monks.
Okay.
So it isn't there. These are what you get for levelling up. You can't buy these with influence. This you can buy with influence if you are there. It costs 6 influence, and you can get the monks to teach you this skill or this advanced action. And there is one final thing you can do at a monastery, and that is burn it down.
Of course.
Okay, now burning down a monastery will lose you 3 reputation.
Surprisingly.
Okay, you draw a random purple monster. So remember, a lot of the things here you're going to get to see what it is, and therefore you can actually work out the combat puzzle beforehand. If you attack a monastery, you get a random purple monster. So it could be anything. Thankfully, the game does come with a reference card. So once you know the game, you can actually look at this to see what it could be. Okay. In fact, I'm just going to put that up there for now. So it's a random purple monster, and you can't use your units because your units refuse to get involved in this, nasty act of burning down monasteries. But if you do succeed, not only will you get the fame for killing the purple monster, is you will get an artifact. If you thought advanced actions were good, right, and you've not seen the spells yet, the spells are really powerful. The artifacts
Obscenely powerful.
are obscenely powerful. Okay? And you get an artifact for burning down a
So
monastery.
potentially, if we're killing that purple monster, you might get your
You
reputation back
No,
anyway.
you won't get reputation back, you'll get fame.
Oh, XP. Basically.
Yeah. Right, so that's the new
Gosh.
title.
Well, okay.
Okay,
Now what am I going to do?
are you going to carry on moving even more?
Well, could do. My cards aren't great for that.
Oh, you've got Crystallise.
Yeah. So when-
Crystallise is a useful card to explain because everybody has
Yeah.
one of these in their deck. Basically, when you play it, you also pay a mana of a basic colour,
so
and it turns that mana into a crystal.
Mm.
So in other words, you could play Crystallise, take this red, and turn it into an actual crystal.
But I'd have to use a blue one to.
No, or if you spent a blue one, so you could spend the gold as if it was blue to gain a crystal of any colour.
I see, but then I don't get.
Yeah.
That top bit.
Yeah. Either way, you get a crystal.
Okay.
But if you spent a blue,
Oh, I see.
you could get a crystal of any colour.
Oh, I see.
is basically what it says.
Yeah, gotcha.
So yeah, Crystallise is quite useful. But yeah, do you want to? I mean, if you move 3 onto the hills, you'd get a blue crystal at the end of your turn anyway.
But then that's going to be 3, 6, isn't it? Oh, it's onto here. 3 onto there.
Yeah,
Which I could potentially do with 2 cards.
you could.
But then I'd be next to these orcs, but then
You would, which you
they're
could
not going to
then
attack me yet.
black next turn.
Yeah.
You have to think about your next turn.
I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
Don't want to keep that
I really need to go through the forest.
Jan's
Well,
here from France. Hi, thank you for
I'm
joining
going to
in.
level up, so I'm going to take one of them.
You're going to get one of them, and you're going to get a skill.
Yeah. So in which case, I'm going to move.
Oh, I see. You're thinking which card you're going to take,
Yeah, so I can plan
and what that will allow you to do
what's going
next
to go
turn.
onto the top of my deck.
Okay, nice.
So I'm going to plan. I'm going to move with that one, and
So 2 movement,
that one.
3 movement, and are you going to go onto the hills?
Yep.
And end your turn.
I might use the gold one to use this to get a crystal of any colour.
Yeah. Okay.
May as well.
So you play crystallise, use the gold,
Get me a red.
get a red, and your go is done.
Yes.
Okay.
So I level up.
Well, re-roll that, pop that back. It's another gold.
again.
The sun's come out. You've ended your turn on a blue crystal
So
mine,
that one goes.
so you get a blue crystal.
A blue crystal.
Discard all of your cards.
Again.
Okay.
Yeah, don't draw up yet, though, do I?
No, not yet. And we level up. So, draw the top 2 skills of your deck.
See what I get.
And see what you get. So you have this one. So once per round, you can flip it over to get a red crystal and either a red or black mana.
Which I can use on a card.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this one is you can flip this over to draw 2 cards, and if you have the lowest fame, you also get a red mana.
Okay.
I'm doing all of these from memory, but I think I've got them right.
I want this one.
You're taking that one.
Or I could choose that one.
Now, if you choose this one, you have to take the leftmost card in the offer.
I want that one anyway.
You want that one anyway. So you could take that.
Which that one does.
Whenever you start interacting with anybody, you get bonuses to your influence depending on how much different coloured crystals you have in your backpack.
Is one per
Yeah.
crystal. I'm probably going to use them though.
Yeah.
Go for this one.
Okay, so that goes here. You can take any of those, but you're taking that one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these slide down,
Angry face.
and we get a new.
It's right up your street.
new
I know.
advanced action.
And then I put it on top of my deck,
Put it on top of your deck, and then draw to your hand size of 5.
which is all my cards.
Okay. So
Got through my deck.
at the
a lot
start of
quicker.
your next turn,
Got to help him whatever he.
remind me, and I will tell you about ending the day.
Yeah,
Okay?
I've got one left.
I will tell you that at the start of your next turn. Okay, back to Goldix.
Yes.
So how many turns have you had? You've had 3.
3.
Everybody's had 3 turns each.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Yeah, it's normally 4 or 5.
Yeah, I know. Just
Yeah.
rinse through all my deck.
So
Go on.
moving.
Yeah.
I don't really want to go. I'd like to go through the forest really, which means I'll need 3.
3 movement to go through the forest during the day. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the keep is something.
It's on a hill, so it would be if you wanted to assault the keep, that would be another 3 movement.
Okay, so that'd be 6, which I could do that.
Okay. And you will get to see what's in the keep beforehand because it's daytime. If it was night, you wouldn't.
Right.
Which again, thematically for me, just makes sense.
So if I use this pure magic card,
So what does pure magic do?
when you play it, play a mana or pay a mana.
Yeah.
If you pay green, move 4. If you paid white, influence 4. If you paid blue, block 4. If you played red, attack 4.
So you're playing pure mana,
Okay.
Yeah.
paying a green.
Yeah,
So that's move 4.
yeah, and then move
That is
2
move
from
2.
there,
So you've
that's
got move
What's
6.
your bottom ability on that? Pure magic.
Everything goes to 7 instead of 4.
Well, you could do that. There's gold here.
I don't want to move 7 though.
No, but
You
then
don't
it saves
have
that
to use
card.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but I
Oh,
to
you
get
got-
the gold, I need to use
Oh.
my mana draw, don't I? Yeah.
No, you can take the gold anyway. But I
So I
think
can take 2 dice,
No.
mana draw allows you to take another one.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it does, yeah.
which
Yeah.
I could take the gold, couldn't I? With the card,
Mhm.
I'd have to use that card to draw the gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I may want to save
But what
that.
I'm saying is, you could take the gold now.
But then what do you need the gold for?
To basically take my attack to
Well, it's
4
reds
if I
on there,
decide
isn't
to
Yeah.
attack.
So you could then use mana draw to take the red to do that, and that saves you that card.
Yeah, so that's move 7 now with the gold card on it. Gold.
So how does that work? If I'm playing the bottom bit, surely I need 2,
No, you do
I
the
need
bottom bit
something
instead
to-
of the top.
Let's have a look. Let's see what it says.
because you'd need the blue to access. The
Oh yeah,
bottom
sorry,
bit.
yes. When you play this, pay a mana. You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
So I
we
need
haven't read
2.
it.
I need
You
2
need
mana.
Thank
You
you.
need a crystal then, don't you, or something?
Yeah.
So that for move 4, and the swiftness for move 2. So there's the
Yeah.
move 6.
Okay.
Okay.
That one, as you were.
So we're going.
So 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
and then we flip the token over, and we'll see what we've got.
One of them.
Right. So what is that according to the list? Is it a golem?
It is a golem. Yeah.
It is a golem. Right.
Golem.
Well, that actually looks fairly easy. It's got attack of 2. Yeah.
4.
It's only got 5 armor.
So I can move on.
Well, hang on a minute.
Okay.
Oh, what's this?
Yeah.
What's this tiny little icon here?
It's in a keep. No?
That means it's got physical resistance.
Right.
We haven't talked about the elements yet, but there's actually 4 types of attack. There's normal attack, which is physical. There's ice attack. There's fire attack, and then there's something called cold fire. Right?
Okay.
Anything that doesn't say ice or fire or cold fire is a normal physical attack.
Right.
And any physical attacks played against this are halved. Because it's a golem.
Okay.
It's resistant. It's resistant to physical attacks. Now, if you had ice attack 5, brilliant. Or if you had fire attack 5, brilliant.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to need 10 points of normal physical attack to get rid of it.
Okay.
And your
Yeah.
pure magic doesn't do.
Well, it's pure
just
magic's been
attack,
used.
Doesn't do any special kind of.
Yeah. So, do you have any form of ice or fire attack in your?
You want that one, don't you? Ice bolt.
No.
And look.
Yeah, that's there.
But that's only 3, isn't it? It's still.
No, I do not.
Right. So yeah, you might not
10.
want to attack it.
Right.
If you can't generate 10 points of attack, there is no point assaulting the keep.
My blood rage. Take a wound to attack 9.
Yeah.
I should have taken that.
Wow.
Because I still can't use the peasants I used before, nor is that available to
The
me
peasants
again.
are spent. Yeah.
Spent.
Now they can take wounds,
Right. Okay. But they
but
couldn't
you
attack.
can't use them to do any
attack
abilities.
or block.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So he's only got an attack of 2.
It's only got an attack of 2.
So you got shield of 2.
Yeah, but if I can't do a 10,
No.
it doesn't
You can't do
anything.
10. You would assault it, spend 3 movement points, lose a reputation, take a wound, and then go back to where you came from.
Will you still take
Doesn't
a
sound
wound?
like a wound move. Yeah, you always take a wound.
Oh, okay. Whatever the weather.
Yeah. It's just how much of the attack is then soaked up by taking that wound.
Right. Okay.
Your other option is move here or there. I mean, you could move there and attack that.
Don't want to do that.
Which is on
That's a bad idea.
So we don't have PvP in play, but there's still a little bit of player interaction with regards to.
Well, that one's easier. I could attack that one, could I not?
You could move 3 here and attack that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
Fall onto there. And
that's,
that's
good. That's
a,
like going backwards though.
but that's a mine.
It's a
isn't it?
white crystal mine. Yeah,
Which would get me a white crystal at
at
the end of the
your
turn.
turn. Yeah,
But is that
And I
as you
could
said,
attack the
yeah,
other thing
that's-
anyway.
you could still attack the thing. You would need 3 attack.
Okay, we'll do that.
So move 3 onto there.
Yep.
Right, and are you going to attack the orcs?
Yes.
Right. So first of all, do you have ranged attack 3?
No.
Okay, so they're hitting you for 4. Do you want to block it? And if so, you need 4 block.
There was a reason why I wasn't going to do that. No, I'm not going to block it.
Okay, so 4 damage is coming in. Do you want to put the peasants in the way?
Yep.
Okay, so the peasants take a wound. That soaks up 3 of that. So there's 1 left, which goes on you,
Okay.
and you get a wound which goes in your hand.
Okay.
And now we go to the normal combat. Do you have 3 points of a normal regular attack?
So if I use my mana draw,
Play your mana draw to allow you to use a second die from the pool.
Yeah.
You could use red, or you might want to use the gold
So other people haven't got it.
to use it up.
Yeah, no. I'll use the red.
It's been nice.
He's a friendly guy.
Some
Friendly
people
dragon.
actually play with a friendly variant.
We
Where-
always play friendly.
If the colour that you need is in there, you are not allowed to take the gold. That is not in the rulebook.
Right.
Right? I don't think it's in the rulebook. It might be. I might have forgotten.
Variant.
But some people play with that.
We would play with that one.
There we go.
Yeah.
Attack
So then
4
Attack 4.
is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get 2 fame,
Yeah, see, I'd like to play this cooperatively rather
1,
than
2.
competitively.
and you get 1
Because then that wouldn't be
reputation.
a thing.
No,
Right.
exactly.
The cooperative thing only really comes in when we go to the city fights, which is
Okay.
much, much later on.
But still.
So 1 reputation for killing the orcs,
Yeah.
2 fame for killing the orcs. We're done.
White crystal.
White crystal at the end of your turn, yeah. Reroll the dice, pop them back in the source. Blue and a green. Discard your cards that you used. Discard any other cards that you want from your hand.
No, I've only got one
You don't
left,
want
so
to.
I'm fine.
Now, before it's the end of your turn, I'd use this.
Oh yeah.
So flip it over for 2 healing, which
So
could
then
is
that
that
goes-
that's 1, and it requires 1 healing to heal a level 1 unit.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go. And then draw back up to your hand size. Right.
I can't.
Okay, Norowas.
Interesting.
So how much do I need to attack?
Well, it depends what it is. We
Depends
don't,
what it is.
we don't know what it
Oh, I
is.
see.
yeah.
Okay.
We don't know what it is. I can
So
tell
can move
you,
first.
you're going to either need
it's purple. Yeah.
Anywhere between 5 and
Oh, that's going
8.
Special stuff, isn't it?
So,
Yeah, depending on what it is, between 5 and 8.
We've got a green crystal.
I've got the move there.
I didn't explain how player armor works.
Yeah, green crystal.
I kind of did earlier
Yeah,
on.
how does that one?
Well, you can use that as well to take 2 mana from over there.
Okay.
So you could. How much do you need to move to there?
To move to here, 2.
To how much would it be to move?
Oh,
to
and then another 5 to move on to the desert, because it's a desert
7.
in
you
the
got to be
daytime.
on there to attack it.
Yeah, it's an assault, so you have to actually move on to that
Right.
particular
So you need
space.
7 moves to be able to attack it.
Mm.
2 moves to be able to see it.
Just going back a bit, somebody said I didn't fully explain player armor. If you hadn't have taken the wound on the peasants, you would have taken 2 wounds instead of 1.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's
Then you
damage
heal 2
divided by
anyway.
armor rounded up,
Yeah, that's fine.
which actually would have been exactly the same because you'd have healed 2
I'd
of
have
it
healed
anyway.
2,
So
yeah.
it didn't matter. Yeah,
And would I flip that back over now?
only at the start of the
Not
round.
next round. Okay.
Round,
not
not
turn.
turn.
Right.
Yeah.
So I can't do it then because I haven't got enough move.
Well,
Remember, you can play cards sideways.
So you could use your. You could
Black
take a.
mana do again? Is that going to
Black mana is for use at night
You could take a blue dice.
or when it's very dark.
And
not a
that's,
wild
and that's
card.
standing
No.
card.
What can I use it for then?
Spells.
Yes, that which will give you 4.
Yeah.
How much are we trying to get to? 7.
7 movement.
Yeah.
7.
So
4 and 2 makes 6,
6.
and then tap a card makes
Yeah.
7.
If we do that
Oh
one.
yeah. Yep. Yeah, do that.
And those two.
Just have the blue.
Yeah.
Okay, so what have we got? So 4.
So we're going to move 4, move 2,
5,
plus
6.
that on
And
the
that one over
sideways.
there as well.
Pop that over here as well. So there's the 7 movement. So you've generated 7 points of movement. You're going to spend 2 of it to go to here.
Yeah.
And then,
Well, let's see. You might not
See
even
what we got?
want to move on here yet.
okay, right. It is
Monks. Apparently.
not just any monks. Is it not evil monks?
No, just,
monks.
monks.
Just monks.
Right, okay.
Just some
So
friendly monks.
you're only going to need 5 attack to
They're
kill
quite
it.
hard monks.
Okay.
Okay, but it does have 5 attack, so you're going to need 5 block, or you're going to take some damage, and it's poisonous. So let's say you don't block it. That's 5 damage. Your
Yeah.
armor is 2, so that's 3 wounds. But because it's poisonous, that's 6 wounds.
Again, you can explain how poison works.
Every time you take a wound, you take another wound.
Right.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
So you really want to block it for a couple of reasons. The first reason is
Okay.
6 wounds is really
Not
bad.
block two.
Doesn't
Really,
sound great,
really
does it?
bad.
Yeah.
But there is another rule that I didn't think I was going to have to explain in this tutorial, and that is exhaustion. If you ever take a number of wounds in one fight equal to your hand size,
Yeah.
you're exhausted, and it's really bad.
Okay.
So,
I've got-
yeah. Yeah, I figured I wouldn't have to explain that rule because nobody would take 5 wounds in one fight.
That one goes up to block 5.
That goes up to block 5.
Yeah, that's also the attack 5 as well.
Yeah.
So, well, that's block 5, so you could use that.
Well, you can use your rage with attack 4. I mean, well, things you need. Well, you can't because you only got. No, but you'll want to have that for block
So
5.
is this going to end with a cooperative win, or will one player be the winner? One player will be the winner. It's basically at the end of the game, the player with the most fame will win.
Well, you need another card.
Or do I just wait till the next game?
Block 2. How much have you got to block?
5.
Oh, you have to block the whole thing as well, you don't do partial. Is that right?
Yeah. What did that, Paul?
Okay,
You have to block everything?
hang on. Yes, poisonous. I got it slightly wrong.
Okay.
Poisonous is for every wound that you take, you put another wound card in your discard pile.
Okay.
So it would be 3 wounds in your hand and 3 wounds in your discard pile.
Right.
That's still bad.
Okay.
Still doesn't sound great.
It's still bad.
Right.
But if you were to block 2 of it,
No, you can't partially block.
fine.
There is no such thing as a partial
So
block.
you need 5 blocks. So you'd have to do that with the 5 block, which then wouldn't leave you with enough to attack it.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you'd have to use
I
that
have to use that.
to get the red die to block
And
it.
attack 2, 3, 4 using the other 2.
You got any crystals?
A
Green
green
crystal.
one.
What can you do with that green crystal?
Rejuvenate. What does rejuvenate do? Boosted.
Heal 1.
What's the boosted
With the
version?
crystal,
Oh,
heal
yeah.
2.
And then
Heal 2, going to draw 2 cards, gain a green mana crystal to your inventory, already a level 1, 2, or 3 unit.
so you could do that.
To draw 2 cards. Let's have a look.
Now.
Is
yeah.
that right? Heal 2. draw 2 cards, gain a green mana crystal, or so you could do this
Oh, even though you don't need it.
even to draw 2 cards,
Okay.
And then,
Which-
might be
which-
two
and then
cards
you'd
to help
have
you
the
in a
cards.
Then you might have some
you'd
good
have
fight
just
cards.
enough cards.
fight. Okay.
And this is what I love about this game. It's a puzzle,
Yeah.
and there's so many different ways that you can solve the puzzle. That is an option. If you're short a card,
You've got the green crystal, and you
You've
get
got the
another
green
green
crystal.
crystal anyway. You replaces itself.
no, it's
It's an all.
all.
Yeah.
Oh, is it not?
Yeah. So you spend the green crystal to draw 2 cards.
Well, this says
Are you
heal
sure?
2.
Yeah.
It says heal 2,
Comma.
draw 2 cards,
Comma.
gain a green mana crystal
Comma.
to your inventory.
Or
Ready.
so it's one of those 4 things.
Oh, it's not the 4 things
No.
then, or.
Oh, I see.
Right. So
Yeah.
now can you do it?
Yes, if that was Arkham Horror card game, I'd say it's all of them.
No.
Another
That,
rage and a crystal cave.
Okay, so another rage is good, isn't it?
Yeah, because that's going to give you attack 4 straight off. So you can grab this. So use your mana draw.
Okay.
Yeah.
So play mana draw to allow you to use a second die this turn.
Do you want the gold one so no one else can use it, or do you want to take the red one?
Take the red one.
You guys are so nice.
You
So
need
that-
that for
pop it
block
up here.
5.
Let's just get these out of the way. Okay, so what's that? Is that the block 5?
Yes.
And that's just on its own, just a block 5. You don't need to discard a card?
Oh,
Yeah,
discard
yes.
another card.
So you have
from
to
your hand.
discard a card.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
The fra-
Well, you're going to have to use.
Or either one of them, because that's going to be 2, 4, and one other card to
Yeah.
make 5, isn't it? So it's just about done.
So
So
which,
unfortunately, you're going to have to discard. Doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
You're going to use both of them anyway.
okay.
Okay? So that's the block 5.
Yeah.
And now you need attack 5.
Which is.
Attack 2.
Have you done it?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that, yeah, just.
Yeah.
There you
There
go.
we go. Attack 5. 1 dead.
And what's really nice about this game is somehow Vladger has designed it so that things like this, where you can literally just about do it,
Yeah.
seem to happen quite a lot.
And that's what you want, then.
That's what you want.
Yeah.
For me,
That's what you
anyway. It's
want.
like, there's nothing more frustrating than if we'd have got through all of that.
And I think
I know we
Still
haven't done
don't
it.
know.
I think that was the only way you could have done that.
Yeah.
Is spending that green
And
crystal,
having that green crystal.
having the
Yeah,
green
luckily.
crystal which you got here,
Yeah.
to play the rejuvenate, just to draw 2 more cards that gave you the extra 1 that you needed. Anyway,
So,
the thing that we forgot to do is your reputation goes down by 1 because you assaulted the keep,
Right.
which means you're now on the -1 space. So anytime you want to interact with anybody,
Mm.
you add up your total influence, knock 1 off.
It might look like a paladin.
You do get 4 fame, however, for this, which is there. Okay?
good news.
And I did mention that there is a reward because you have basically defeated the mages in there, is you get a spell. So again, another thing that you would do at the start of the game if you were playing normally is you would create a spell offer,
Okay.
which is 3 spells. And you get one of those, lose a reputation, fight the monster. It was fortified, so you wouldn't have been able to use ranged combat. You didn't do that anyway. Oh, we need one of your little shield tokens. Right?
This is yours now.
No, it's not yours.
Okay.
A keep would be yours.
Right.
But this marks that you got rid of the mages that are in there. Anybody can now go here, but you're the one that effectively liberated it.
By
This will be
spells.
worth points at the end of the game. That's what that
Okay,
is.
cool.
So you get a spell. Take one of those spells. Now this is a spell which goes on top of your deck.
Ah,
It requires mana to use the top bit, and it requires mana and black mana to do the bottom bit. So the bottom bit can only ever be used at night time or when it's very, very dark. There's somewhere later on where you can go that's very, very dark.
interesting.
Yeah, lots of text.
Yeah. So which one?
Ice attack
Lots
8,
of text.
cold fire attack 7,
Yeah.
range attack 6, siege attack 5.
Big attack card that requires blue mana. Using the ability of units in the offer
Oh, okay.
temporarily
Okay.
for
Oh, I
white
see.
mana,
Yeah.
or causing all enemies to lose all of their fortifications and all of their resistances.
I'll have that one.
This one,
That'd be good for that one, wouldn't it?
that goes on top of your deck.
Okay.
That gets replenished with a new spell.
And all of that goes away.
So it's
All of that goes to the discard pile.
Rerolled,
The
doesn't
crystal goes, the dice get re-rolled. Oh, we have another depleted one. It's getting dark.
Which is not far off.
And there is now a new action available at this space. So anybody who goes here can spend 7 influence and a mana of the matching colour to learn that spell.
Alright.
Okay? So that's a new action that everybody can do here. Right. At the start of your turn, I need to explain something, and I am just going to double check this rule because I want to get it right.
This will be the end. That'll be the end of your turn.
And this is
maybe going to end his round.
This is ending the day. Right. Okay. If a player runs out of cards and they do not want to play anything in their hand, they can announce end of round. So, because your deck is empty, you may, if you want to, declare end of round. You don't have to. If your deck was empty and you had no cards in hand, you must declare end of round. If you declare end of round, then you don't play your turn, and everybody else gets one more turn.
Right.
Okay? So you need to decide if you want to have another go or not.
Yes, please.
You do. Okay. So you're not declaring end of round.
He wants to use that. He wants to use that blood
He's
rage.
very angry. Right.
You notice we're all over here.
Yeah. Crazy lady.
Crazy angry lady.
So,
Right. Are you going to use your skill?
this one.
There's no reason not to.
Oh, because it's going to refresh anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I might as well get a
So
red
you get a
crystal.
red crystal
And potentially I'll get a red mana,
and a red mana.
which I'm probably going to use on here, aren't I?
You upgraded.
What does that
So
mean?
that's that done.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah,
hang on.
level up.
Yeah, leveling up. So draw 2 skills.
Top
These
2 of
ones.
them.
Again, if you're playing the game normally, you would be doing this while Rick's taking his turn. So the one on the left is for every unit that you have which is not spent, you get an extra movement point. Is that right?
It looks that way.
You get 1 move for each ready and unwounded unit. You
Ready?
control.
Yeah. And notice that that isn't a flip ability.
So that's
So that is
that's-
permanent.
that's
That's
the ease, basically.
every single turn, for every unit that you have,
Yeah.
you get extra movement points. The other one is your interactive skill. What that with the interactive skill, there is one in the deck, and remember what we did downstairs in the setup. We're playing with that one because it's a competitive game.
Okay.
You get to
Oh,
do
yeah.
something, and then you put the skill in the middle of the table, and it's going to affect everybody else as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and your interactive skill is
That's quite neat.
did it choose a terrain type?
No.
No?
Move cost of all terrain.
All
is
terrain
reduced by,
is by 2.
Reduced by 2 for Vashti.
Yeah, but
for a
everybody
minimum
else.
of 1, and increased by 1 for everybody
Yeah,
else.
so it makes movement cheaper for you for 1 time round,
Yeah.
but more expensive for everybody else.
Oh, that's quite
Now,
good.
Norowas, when you're playing the full game, Norowas will end up with a big army of units because he's all about being friendly, influencing, getting lots of big armies together, not going around stealing cabbages.
Pillaging, yeah.
Pillaging. It's not what Norowas is about.
Attacking keeps.
Yeah,
Killing nice monks.
yeah.
Oops.
So
It's time to
So you get to choose.
Repent.
Yeah.
you get to choose which one of them you're, or you can have one of these 2. But if you take one of these 2,
Mm,
you must take this card.
okay.
If you take one of your own skills, you can have any of them.
No, right, that doesn't sound too bad if you are getting around to getting people.
I don't know. I think that one's quite.
Okay.
They're both quite good, though, aren't
Is
they?
that
Yeah.
a one-off thing?
Once per round, yeah.
But then it will refresh.
Refreshes at the end of the
So
round.
you just do us over once a go, flaming out.
Yeah.
It's a bit mean, and I'll go with that one.
You go with that one? So you need to be going recruiting
You
units.
do, otherwise it doesn't do anything yet.
That goes there. So choose one of those. That goes on top of your deck.
So that's a good one for recruiting.
It is a good one for recruiting. The first time I ever played the full game, I played Norowas. I got this card, and it was awesome.
Okay.
It was like 8 years ago. I remember it to this day.
And that'll
But
go
that
into
was the
the-
6th round game. We're
Yes.
only going to be seeing a teaser of the full game here.
Oh, I just want to carry on playing all day.
Right. Anyway, Rick's go.
Right.
So you're going to take your turn.
Yes.
You've flipped over your skill. You've
I
got your
have.
crystal. You've got your mana. Remember, limit of 3 per colour.
Okay.
And that's because of instability in the crystals. If you have too
Oh.
many of them together,
They blow up.
yeah, they blow up. So don't do that.
So I'm going to attack those orcs.
So you're not moving.
Not yet. Oh no, I can't move. can I?
Remember, it's move first and then an action,
And only one action.
and only one action.
So if I can move there and attack both of them.
No.
But if I move there, halfway
They'll-
through the movement
they'll
he's going
attack
to
you.
intercept, but that
They're
stops my
gonna attack
movement.
you as
Yeah.
soon as you. Yeah.
Fine, so I might as well stay where I
You're
am.
going to stay where you are because
Yeah.
then you'll get a blue crystal at the end of the turn.
Yeah.
For the mine.
So I'm going to bash these orcs.
Okay, so do you have ranged attack 5?
No, can I do range attack 3?
Okay, so it's hitting you for 3. Do you want to block it?
Yes.
Okay, you need block 3
Block 5.
with blue.
Yes.
You don't want to use that?
Well,
I don't know. I don't know what you've got planned.
yeah, I could use that. Okay, save my crystal.
Use that as if it was blue. So there's the block 5, right? And now you need attack 5 to hit it.
And then use my blood rage and take a wound to increase its attack 5.
Okay, so you take a wound. So you're not powering it up with mana.
Nope, don't need to.
You don't need to.
Well,
But are you using that?
I need to use that, don't I? Otherwise, what's the point?
Go on, make it 9, just for a laugh.
Overkill.
Total overkill. Okay, so it's dead.
Yep.
So you get 3 fame.
I expect bits of that hit us.
Where are you?
Over
You're
the
here.
side of the board.
So 1, 2, 3. And you gain a reputation. See, Arathi is the nice one.
I'm the nice
That's
evil
this
raider.
raider. Going around clearing the countryside
Killing
of all
orcs.
these orcs.
Shame I can't move now.
Yeah. Okay, you're done.
Yeah.
So
pretty much.
re-roll that. White. Spend the crystal. Get that back in here. Discard those.
All that time I needed white.
And you get a blue crystal at the end of your turn for being on a...
Yeah, now it's turned up.
Oh, there you go. Right. You may declare end of round if you want to.
I mean, other than the fact that I can gain a couple of crystals out of 2 of these cards, which is
Pretty
probably
good.
worthwhile.
Which is pretty good. Ready,
Yeah, yeah.
ready for...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I should really kind of stay where I am.
Okay. So you're
Right.
not going to declare end of round.
No, because moving anywhere is going to be what 3?
3.
Yeah.
3 into the hills, 3
Or
into the forest.
2 back to the village, which is no real merit on that. So yeah, I'll go will focus, which basically gain a blue, white, or red mana token or green crystal. So I'll take a green crystal to my inventory. How many of those can you have?
3 of each colour.
Oh, 3 of each colour.
Yeah.
Okay, and then if I go crystal joy, yeah,
Lots of text.
yeah, I don't need to take the card. Well, I could take the card back into my hand and then have another go next time in order to get another crystal.
Okay.
Which is there blue? No, there isn't. I
No,
can't,
there's no
there
blue.
isn't. There's no blue up there, so that's no good. So
So what is it? Pay a mana of any
pay a-
basic colour.
Yeah. So
Gain a crystal of that colour to the inventory.
I'll take a.
And at the end of the turn...
You may discard another card to take the card back into your hand.
Right, okay. Which you might as well.
Okay.
You might as
so-
well discard Tranquility because it's...
Yeah.
Tranquility
So I
not,
can
not doing
discard
anything.
that and
Put
take
that
that
back in hand.
and then
Yeah.
roll that. That goes to discard.
You're done.
I'm done.
Would you like to declare end of round?
Don't think so.
Okay.
I was going to move and explore. Can I do that?
Well, it's 5 movement to get to here,
Oh, okay.
and then another 2 to explore.
7.
Yeah, you're gonna need.
No, it's-
seven.
it's-
So
Oh, no, I
it's-
can't.
you're clanking around the desert in armour.
It's
during the
desert,
daytime.
yeah,
Not a great idea.
it's hot.
Then
So what's your heroic tale?
Good for.
If you power it up,
Influence 6, fame +1, reputation +1 for each unit you recruit this turn.
yeah. So
Get on here.
we have no units that can be recruited in a tower, but you could have. Are you able to get 2 mana this turn somehow? No.
No.
Ah. So the heroic tale. How much influence is the heroic tale just on its own?
3.
3. If you then played the other 3 cards sideways, that's another 3. 6 minus 1 is 5. Now, if you could have got to 7, you could have learnt another spell.
And if you boost your heroic tail using the white source,
Yeah,
that gives you how much?
but you need a mana to buy a spell.
I
It's
see.
7 influence and a mana.
You got no crystals, have you?
yeah, so I can't go.
So your 2 options are declare end of round,
Mm.
or play 5 move and just get to here.
Using
Okay.
your cards.
Yeah,
Using all my cards.
yeah, you could.
May as well, because it's about exploring.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
The reason why you might not want to,
Mm.
if you decide to end the round now, you'll make the other players only have 1 more go each, and they're probably only going to have 1 more go each anyway. But
Yep.
it means you'll start the next round in the tower, which means if the units come out
Okay.
that allows you to recruit in a
Oh, 'cause
tower,
this is going to refresh.
this
is
is
it?
this is going to completely refresh.
Right.
All of these are going to go,
So she might
new
be able
ones
to
are gonna
recruit
come
in a tower.
and then it'll be night time, and moving through the desert is easier.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
They're your two options. You can either move here now and get a jump on the movement for next turn, or stay here in the hope that you'll be able to recruit something cool.
Yeah.
Gonna do that?
Yeah.
So you're declaring end of round.
I am.
So you two only now have one more turn.
The Monastery training card, does that go when
It's
it
here.
refreshes?
Yes.
So that's going to go.
This
and
one
then-
will disappear,
and then
but a new one will
Oh,
come
new
out.
training will come out.
Yeah. At the start of the next round, we will deal out one advanced action into the offer for every
Mm-hmm.
unburnt down monastery.
Oh, interesting. So if I use that with the green
For move 4,
so
One,
1, 2,
two.
3, 4.
or you could explore.
Well,
It's up to you.
I'm going to explore with move 2,
All right. Okay.
from staying on the monastery.
Okay. We have tile number 6. I should have asked where you were exploring.
Okay. Because there could be one here and there could be one here.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick to going the edge.
Okay. So that goes there.
Orcs.
So we have an orc token, which is this one. We have a red crystal mine, and we have a monster den.
But
Right. So, a couple of extra rules I'm going to tell you now. We've placed that hex, and it's adjacent to only one other hex. That's fine, because this one is adjacent to 2. So that's okay. But you can't now go exploring here.
right.
Okay? So the hex that you place has to either be adjacent to 2 hexes, or adjacent to a tile that is adjacent to 2 other tiles.
Mhm.
If you see what I mean. Basically, you can't explore off in a
Straight line.
in a long straight line.
Mhm.
Right, monster dens. First rule that I'm going to explain about monster dens is the most confusing one that people get confused with. And that is a monster den, and like other things that we're going to find later on, are called adventure sites. An adventure site means that there is something in that hex, but moving on to the hex does not trigger the adventure site.
Right.
Entering the adventure site is something that you can do optionally.
Okay.
So you could move on to this hex, wander round, have a campfire, have a big party, do all of that,
Leave the
and it doesn't affect this at all.
Right.
But if you are on there, you can choose to enter the adventure site, and then you get to do everything that it says.
Okay.
So adventure sites are completely optional things.
Mhm.
In the monster den is a random brown monster, but you will get 2 crystals for defeating it.
Mm.
Yeah, draw a brown monster, so it's random. If you fail to defeat it, it stays face up on the space. And if you do defeat it, you'll put your token on it to say, I defeated that monster den. It'll be worth points at the end of the game, and you'll get 2 random crystals.
Okay.
But we're not going to get there this round.
No.
Okay, did I give you your fame for exploring?
No.
So close.
Yeah, I know. And
Oh,
that's.
but there's an orc. Oh,
There's
we
an
can't-
orc, but I can't do
you-
anything.
You're done.
I've got no cards.
Okay, so you finished?
Oh.
Ooh. Right, your last turn.
So, I'm not going to use that one. Crystal Joy.
Yeah. Powered by.
Oh, I can use that and then choose a crystal of any colour.
Yeah.
But you can't put gold ones in there,
No,
can you?
no. Gold and black do not exist as crystals.
So, do I want another red, another green, or another white?
Or a blue.
Or a blue? I'll go for a blue.
Go for the full set.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Nice.
We are now at the end of the first round of the game. So the day is over, and we now have to perform a whole load of cleanup steps. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this board over, because it's now night time. And we have the new terrain costs.
Okay.
We re-roll all of the mana dice. Oh dear. Right. Oh dear.
Night times.
These
Suns.
cannot be used, because it's night time.
Yeah.
So gold mana cannot be used. Right.
That was a bad roll.
Yeah, that was a bad roll.
Who asked him?
Yeah,
However,
what did he roll?
however, there's a rule that I forgot.
Oh.
Half of the dice should be basic colours, which they're not. So this is in there to prevent this kind of thing
So
happening.
you get a roll again.
Yeah. So re-roll black and gold dice as needed until this condition is met. So at least 3 of them need to be the basic colours. There we go.
That's bad.
Never happened. Right. Take all unit cards from the unit offer that were not recruited. And we put them on the bottom of the regular unit deck. And then we deal new ones in a minute. And the amount of units is equal to the number of players plus 2. if there are any monasteries on the board, we're going to replenish that with that. But I'm just checking when we deal the advanced units. I think it's if a core tile has been found. If we have found a core tile, one of the brown ones, then we have a mix of regular units and elite units. Because we haven't found a core tile, it's just regular units. So we need 5 of these.
Influence, alright, some more peasants.
There we go. That goes. And we get a new one for the monastery. The bottom card from there goes. They slide down, and we get a new one. And then this spell goes. They slide down, and we get a new one. Okay, so we are refreshed. All players shuffle their deed cards. So your hand, your discard pile, your deck, all of that gets all shuffled back together. And you need a new deck. Skills that were used, flip back over. Units ready, so you take off the spent tokens. If they were wounded, they do not unwound, but they would still ready.
Yeah.
And all players return their tactic cards. There you go. Elite units are not used in first reconnaissance. Okay, thank you. So we're not going to use the elite units in first reconnaissance. Normally you would. Thank you very much. I'd forgotten that. Right, tactics cards. Can you pass me your tactics cards? Right, because now we are at night time. So let's move these to one side.
Oh,
Right, so we have night tactics. The player whose token is on the last space of the fame track gets first choice. Then the one who is second to last gets to pick next, etc., etc. So because you two are tied on fame, it's the player who was playing later in the previous round. So in other words, Norowas, you get first choice of night tactic, then it'll be Goldix, then it'll be Arathea. Okay, let's go through the night tactics. And again, I'm going to zoom in just so people can see the night tactics. Again, go first, but no special abilities. Okay? Long night. At some point during this particular round, once your deed deck is empty, you can basically shuffle your discard pile, pick 3 cards at random, put them back on your deck, and basically extend your, how long you can go. Mana search once per turn, so this is every single turn. Before you use mana from the source, you can re-roll up to 2 dice in the source. So it doesn't give you any extra mana, it just allows you to re-roll what's there.
5, 1, 2, 1.
But it allows you to re-roll gold, which are normally depleted during the night. Midnight meditation. One time during the night, before any of your turns, you can shuffle up to 5 cards, including wounds, from your hand, back into your deck, and then draw that many cards. So once, at some point during the round, you can do a mulligan.
Yeah.
Effectively. Preparation. This is awesome. When you take this card, search your deck for any one card and put it in your hand. Okay? Which, when you're playing the full game and you've got that uber powerful artifact that you need.
And that's every turn, is it?
No,
Or just
that
once
is
per round?
when you take this card.
When you take it. Okay.
Yeah.
And sparing power. This is also amazingly powerful. Once before the start of each of your turns, you can either put the top card of your deck face down under this, or flip this card over and take all of the cards under there in your hand. So in other
save
words,
for later.
turn 1, put a card under it.
Yeah,
Turn
yeah.
2, put a card under it. Turn 3, put a card under it. Turn 4, flip
That's
it
6
over,
cards.
draw 3 cards, and have an amazing turn.
Yeah, that's good fun, isn't it?
As I say, the full conquest scenario is all about taking on the cities. And to take on a city, you need to basically prepare. You need to spend the whole of the round preparing, getting the right cards in your hand at the right time, and then at the end of the round,
Big go.
hit the city with one big attack.
Sparing power is a city killer, someone just says.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, which one of those would you like?
Me.
Yeah.
That one.
Okay. So you're going to be going last.
Yeah.
Goldix, your choice next.
I'll go for preparation.
Then find your card.
Mhm.
Do it right now.
Well, in fact, draw your 5 cards first. Sorry, I should have done that. You should have drawn your 5 cards first. So if you had the one you were looking for, you might not want to take
Oh,
preparation.
I see.
Yeah, but blood rage.
Yeah, based on what you know is in your deck, where you are, and what you're planning to do this turn.
Okay, so I don't think so.
You're still going to take preparation?
Yeah.
Okay. So Rick, which one do you want? You can take Midnight Meditation and still go first.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Before, one time this night before any of your turns.
Yeah. Taking it?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so that is the turn order. That is the tactics chosen.
And is this as well as my normal 5?
Yeah. Yeah, you draw your normal 5 and then choose tactics. Lonely Man BG says it tends to use preparation a lot. Yeah, I'm the same, especially in the solo game, because you need it to get that
Good card.
that one card that you need.
Interesting.
I'll put pure magic.
Okay, right, we are ready. So it is night time. You should turn the lights off.
Get some candles out.
Arithia is first, but if you two want to start looking at your cards and working out potentially what you might be doing, Vashti, cards that can be recruited in the tower are these 3.
Okay.
What, anything in the monastery?
Each of them requires 7 influence, which for you, because they don't like you, is 8.
Right.
So you would need to generate 8 influence,
Okay.
minus the 1 is 7. You could recruit one of those 3 things. Monastery, that one, the herbalists.
Let's see what it does.
Or this.
All that.
This is 6 influence. That is...
I'm +1 on mine at the moment.
Okay, so you would need to generate 5 to learn this. Or that is only 3.
Yeah, I could use my promise. Probably good to get some people. I haven't got any.
People are good.
Good.
And you're about to level up. Which means you can have 2 people.
But I can only do one action, can't I?
Yeah. I should have mentioned this at the start. I completely forgot. But if you are watching this on Facebook, I've decided to stream this out on Facebook at the same time. And I can't see the Facebook comments. So if you are watching this on Facebook and you're typing frantically away, thank you very much. I can't see those.
Why hasn't he replied?
The chat windows that you're
Nearly
seeing...
2 hours
I
now.
know. The chat window on screen is purely for the YouTube comments only. So yes, thank you very much if you are watching this on Facebook though. Right.
So, I'm going to want to do 2 things, which I can't do. So, well, there's 3 things I could
You
do.
could explore,
Exactly. I could explore, getting me a...
which would level you up,
Yeah, I could kill the goblins,
which would level you up.
orcs.
You could explore and kill the goblins, the orcs.
Okay. Or I could explore and I could influence and get a dude.
Yeah.
Or the blood ritual. Blood ritual. That's
Blood
exciting,
ritual.
isn't it?
He's excited by that.
Gain a red
If
crystal.
you didn't
to
notice.
their inventory and a mana token of any colour. Take a wound, gain. It's all a bit
It's
painful.
all about taking wounds.
But then again, if I get the healers,
Yeah, exactly.
but can we, yeah, it means I'm just going to stay around here for ages. But that's not too bad. If I don't play any cards,
So you have to play at least 1 card on
Yeah,
your turn.
but
If you
if I
don't
play
play any
one card-
cards, you have to discard 1.
okay. So
There's also something in the game that you can do called rest. I haven't actually mentioned that. It's what you do when you've got loads of wounds in your hand.
I'm going
We haven't got to that stage yet.
to do a move 2 to get a tile out.
Okay, so we gain you a fame,
Mhm.
and we get tile number 7, which goes here.
Oh look!
So we have
Monasteries
another
fixed.
monastery. So we get another one of these cards, and we put it here. What else have we got? We have an orc, which is it's the big tough one. We have a swamp, a new terrain type. We have a healing glade, and we have a dungeon. Dungeon is an adventure site. Remember, adventure sites, they're safe spaces to go on. But if you wanted to, you could, as your action, go down the dungeon.
Ooh.
When you go down the dungeon, your units don't go with you. It is night. It is considered night time because it's very dark, and you draw a random brown monster. But if you succeed, you either get a spell or an artifact as a reward.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
The other difference between dungeons and monster dens is monster dens, once you've killed the monster that lives in the den, that's it. Whereas a dungeon, there's an infinite supply of monsters in the dungeon, but only the first player to defeat it gets the reward.
Right, okay.
Okay?
So, now I've done that.
Now that you've spent your 2 movement on exploring,
Yes.
what you gonna do?
I'm going to recruit the herbalists.
So you're gonna interact with the
Monastery.
monastery.
With
You've got 2 influence with the promise,
white dice.
plus 1 because of your reputation.
Oh, okay. Yeah, true. Which gets me 3.
There's 3.
Herbalists then, please.
So you've not actually used.
A source yet.
Did you want to do that, or did you want one of these? Because you
Well-
could easily get 6 influence.
Siege attack 3. The blood ritual does sound quite good, but I want these.
You want that
guys.
one?
Well,
Okay.
there's something I'm going to do next,
Okay, that's fine.
which I wanted to get these guys first.
Yeah. So you're done?
Yeah.
No more interactions?
Well, what else can I do? Anything?
Heal? Don't forget you can burn down monasteries.
Well, that's what I was going to do.
Oh, you were going to do that?
Yeah.
Well, that's an action. That'll be next turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I want to get these guys first. Otherwise, I didn't want to reduce down my thing to 0.
Oh, I see. So you go into the monastery, you recruit the herbalists that are there,
Yeah.
burn
and
it
then
down.
you burn the monastery down.
Yep.
You know
There's
the
another
herbalist.
there's another one next to it.
That's true.
That's fine.
Oh, I see, you character. Right, okay. So those go to the discard pile. You didn't use a mana from the
I
source.
didn't. No.
So that doesn't change. Draw back. Oh, you didn't level up?
I am now.
You did level up.
Yeah.
Right, so this is level 3. So level 3 is really easy. You just take the top tile of your level deck and flip it over. There you go. And your armour has now gone up to 3.
Yes.
Right,
Okay.
Goldix.
I draw
So-
back up.
To attack this again.
Yep,
Yeah.
that is on a keep, so you need to spend the 3 movement points to move on there.
Yeah. So
You
6
will-
to get there.
You will lose 1 reputation because it's a keep.
Right.
Do you want to zoom back out again?
Oh yeah, I'll zoom back out, sorry. Where's the thing? There you go, that's about right. It will attack you for 2,
Yeah.
so you need 2 points of block, or you take 2 damage,
fine.
which is 1 wound, and then you need either 5 points of elemental attack.
So with that pure magic.
What does that
Cover
say?
that. Where it says if I pay red, I get an attack 7.
Attack 7 or
Yeah.
fire attack 7?
Oh, it just says attack 7.
So that would be halved to 3.5.
Right. Okay. Okay. Not doing that then. Okay.
And you can get the 10, I think. You just have to spend
so
a lot of
just-
stuff.
Yeah. I don't really want to do that.
You've got lots of movement, haven't you?
I have.
Yeah.
I want to use that really. So I'm gonna.
Let's just have a look at will focus. Because you don't have concentrate. You have this instead.
Right. Okay.
This is a better version. When you play this, play another action card with it, get the stronger effect for free, and if it gives you move, influence, block, or any type of attack, get that amount plus 3. This
Oh, that would give
with
me
that
attack
is
10.
attack 10.
which would let me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a better version of concentrate.
Okay. I'm gonna save that for next turn, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna play those 2. With that, which gets me move 6.
So move 6.
So I can go
1, 2, 3.
and then explore.
Explore for another 2. So we have tile number 8, which goes here, which gets you 1 fame. And what do we have? We have an orc. We have lots of swamp.
Lots of swamp.
We have an orc. Now this is a summoner. So if you kill it in ranged combat, it's dead. If you don't kill it in ranged combat, you don't fight it. It summons a random brown monster,
Okay.
and that's what attacks you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We have another village here, and here we have a ruin.
Same with that guy.
The ruin is... Where's my cards? Oh, we've even got a card for the marauding orcs. And a card with the move costs, but that's fairly clear. Where's the ruin? Here's the ruin. Ancient ruins. When revealed, we take a ruin token and we put it on here, but because if it was daytime, we'd flip it over right now. Because it's nighttime, we don't flip it over,
That's it.
but you will flip it over either when day comes or you move on to the space.
Uh-huh.
The ancient ruins are an adventure site. They're all different.
Okay.
So we'll explain it when you get there. But nothing is going to attack you immediately. It's always optional. Right, so you've still got 3 movement left.
No, I've got 1 movement left. Well, I could have 3
Oh,
if
yeah,
I
yeah.
played that.
Yeah,
but
1
that's
movement left.
swamp, which takes 5. So I can either go into the desert,
Carl's got to go. Thank you, Carl, for joining in.
or I could. No, that's it. That's all I'm going to do. I think.
End your turn there?
Yep.
Okay. So re-roll the mana dice. Pop it back. Discard your cards that you played. Discard any other cards that you want to discard. And then draw back up to your hand size.
Oh, I should have really played that one.
Do you want to?
Yeah, because that's
What does it do?
pay a mana of any basic colour to gain a crystal of that colour.
But you've already used the mana from here.
Oh yes,
So,
so I
yeah,
would be
you
able to do
couldn't-
it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Right, Norowas. What you gonna do?
How much did you say I needed?
Well, because of your reputation at -1, you
Yeah.
need one more than what it says.
So 8.
You would need 8 influence.
I think I can do that.
Have you drawn your threaten?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've got 5 on here. 5.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, you can totally do it.
with this.
Or just
There's
the,
2 reds out there.
or the threaten and the improvise.
What, 2?
Is threaten 5?
So threatens
Only if you push the-
improvise is 3 at the top.
Improvise is 3, and I thought threaten was 5.
Threatens
is it?
5.
Yeah, so that's the 8.
But then your reputation goes down.
Oh, your
by
reputation goes down and even
Yeah.
worse, but that, yeah,
Still minus
your
1.
other option, because your other way of doing it is only 7.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking, but I didn't really want the minus.
Yeah.
one. Minus 5. Oh, well, unless you just turn over another card.
Yeah, but yeah.
Tap a card.
Okay, I'll go with that then.
Further down that track.
So you spend the red on the threaten, you play the improvisation, and you have to discard another card for the improvisation.
Oh.
So there's the 8, minus the 1 is 7. Your reputation goes down because you threatened them. Which one would you like?
I don't know.
The illusionists or the guardian golems? So the
5.
illusionists, they can be used to generate influence. They can basically a target unfortified enemy does not attack this combat if you spend a white mana,
Right.
or you can use them to gain a white crystal. The guardian golems can either attack, or if you power them up with red mana, they can do a fire block, or if you power them up with blue mana, they can do an ice block.
I've got 3 shield, I guess, and 2 shield.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Guardians then.
Guardian golems.
Yeah.
Right. So they go underneath your level token, or below your red, your this thing.
Okay.
There. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Because they're not spent yet.
Oh, I see.
So that was your action.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So you didn't spend. Oh no, you did. You threatened.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that gets rolled and put back. White. And then Rick, it's your go.
Okay. Can you tap a card to give a ranged attack
No.
one?
No. One normal attack.
Normal attack. Well, I'm going to throw caution to the wind.
Nomi's saying, yeah, the brown token attacks you, but you attack the orc. Yes.
Not the brown token.
Yeah,
Interesting.
not the brown token. The brown token attacks you,
Yes.
and then you have to protect yourself
That's
against it or
interesting
not.
if the illusionists come out.
Yeah, but then when you attack it, it's that you're attacking. Thank you for the clarification.
I'm going to burn down the monastery
Mm.
because that sounds exciting, and I want to try and get an artifact.
Okay.
That also sounds exciting.
So you lose 3 reputation.
Yeah, that's
1,
all right.
2, 3.
I can live with that.
You're going to fight a random purple monster, but your units won't help you.
Okay.
Okay?
No, that's fine.
But if you succeed, you get an artifact.
What have we got?
I don't know. What have you got?
Let's find out. Those guys.
It's
the illusionists.
It's illusionists. Okay. So,
Illusionists summon a random.
well, they will. But first of all, if you've got 3 points of non-physical ranged attack, you can kill them. Arithia is burning down the monastery.
Oh.
Yeah.
Non-physical.
You
ranged
popped
attack.
out, and while you were gone, Arithia went. Tell you what, I'm just going to burn this monastery down.
Now this is only physical ranged attack.
That
I
is
guess.
physical ranged attack. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's got the fisty fist.
It's resistant to physical.
Oh, he's going to be resistant to all my stuff then.
Mm-hmm.
I attack him though, don't I? Not the other one.
Yeah.
Oh, lame.
To be fair, no one's surprised that this monastery's getting burned.
No. I think we knew it was coming.
But it's not good because I can't fight these guys.
Are you not able to kill it?
I haven't got anything which is non-physical.
So
Everything's
it's hard.
physical.
So you need 6.
Oh, okay. Well, in which case, yeah, I can do 9.
Yeah, you can
No
do
worries.
it.
Oh, fine.
You can do
Fine.
it.
Okay. So,
Does it store and set up easily? I have to be honest. there's quite a lot of setup, and there's a lot of bags that you need for all of the different bits. But it's
Yeah.
worth it. It's totally worth it.
So I haven't got ranged attack 6.
Okay, so it summons a random brown monster.
This one,
Yeah,
which is a double mouth
worm
thing, worm thing,
right?
which doesn't look
Which
great.
hits you for 6 damage.
Youch.
So have you got 6 block?
I've only got 2 block.
It's all or nothing.
Yeah.
It's fine. This is not actually too bad.
No.
Okay, so you're not blocking it.
No.
Okay, so it's 6 damage. You can't use your units because they refuse to get involved in this
Burn
heretical
down.
action. So your armour is 3,
Yeah.
which means you basically take 2 wounds. It's damage divided by armour rounded up.
Okay. 2
Okay,
wounds.
so you
With
take
that,
2
'cause I can
wounds.
heal 2 with my herbalists or my tranquility. I'm all good.
2 wounds into your hand.
Yeah.
And now you've got to hit these. So how are you going to hit them? Blood Rage?
So I need to hit 6.
Yeah, 6 points of physical.
Yeah. So blood rage.
Powered by red?
Is there a green one there? There is, isn't there?
There is a green one.
So. Yeah, I guess so. Well, no, actually, I've got these, haven't I?
Yeah, but you've not used one of these
No,
yet.
but I was thinking potentially of healing 2 and
Okay.
drawing 2 cards.
But you've got that as well. Use that. Totally use that.
Yeah, for getting red
Yeah,
mana
get a red crystal
and a red mana.
and a red mana.
Attacking with this one.
Use the red
Take a
mana
wound.
on the Blood Rage to take a wound.
Yeah, to increase it to 9.
Okay, so 9 attack,
Splat.
halved, 4.5, splat. You get 4 fame. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we put one of your shield tokens on the monastery because
Yeah.
that monastery has been burnt down.
Haha.
That'll be worth points at the end of the game. And you get a reward.
I do. I get an artifact.
Artifacts. So whenever you get an artifact as a reward,
You get
you,
rewarded for burning down the
Yeah.
monastery.
Well, I stole them.
you actually get 2.
Ooh.
You choose one,
Ooh.
put it on top of your deck. Now, this is a reward from combat. So we should
Interesting.
probably do your
Finishing everything
tidying
else
up.
first. Because
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily finished yet.
No.
Because I'm going to use tranquility,
Yeah.
Um,
Using
using
this
the green to
to
heal
heal
2.
Yeah, that's those 2 gone.
And I haven't got another green really.
Nope.
So I can't do that. These are all that.
Done.
Yep.
Okay.
So I can do.
So this gets rolled and put back. And green, discard all of these cards.
Well,
That goes.
and that one. Only have 2 cards.
Yeah. Have a look which one you want, put it on top of your deck, and then put the other one to the bottom of the artifact deck.
And then draw up to my hand.
And then
size,
draw up to your
which
hand
is going to be
size.
drawing one of these.
Right, Goldix. Goldix and the keep with the golem inside.
Yeah. Trying to decide if I'm going to bother with that or not. Because I can use these as mana, can't I?
They can be used as mana. You break the crystal open, the mana comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I used the pure magic and swiftness with the ranged attack 3, can I use that with that?
Can't use ranged attack 3 because it's in a keep.
Oh, okay.
So everything in a keep is fortified, which means you can't use ranged attack.
Interesting.
You would need siege attack.
So
See the 2 ones I got.
Oh, okay. That's unlucky.
2 to choose from. It's like, well, I might as well have the darkness one because it's night.
oh yeah.
So it goes on top of the deck and I
Top of
draw
your
it.
deck, and then you draw it.
So if I go with will focus
Yeah,
with the green mana,
yeah. So you
Yeah.
play another card with
so
it,
I get pure magic with it, and I get the stronger effect of that.
plus 3.
So that would give me. So I
Oh,
still need
that's
to pay a mana, I think.
No.
Because it's when I have
Yeah,
to use
when
a
you
mana
play
to-
this,
yeah.
pay a mana.
Is this-
And you need
Any
red.
Oh yeah, red.
Yes.
Is this a black card?
No, it is not a black card.
So how do I get the bottom effect?
Artifacts, you can play them for the top effect,
Yeah.
and the card is then discarded, or you can play for the bottom effect, and the card is destroyed and removed from the game.
Ooh, ouchie.
Yeah.
Right.
If you read the bottom effect, it's probably super powerful.
It is
Yeah.
good. I was like, well, how do I do it? A black thing? That's what I thought, oh, damn.
No.
Okay, fine.
So with that, I have attack 10.
So there's the attack 10, but you're going to need the move 3.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to use those two.
Okay. So move 3. You move on to the keep.
Yeah.
You lose a reputation for doing that.
Yeah.
It then hits you for 2,
Yeah.
which is
Got my peasants in the way.
what, as block?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you spend the peasants.
Sorry, can I have the other one? I've changed my mind. Now that I've read it a bit.
Okay.
Thank you.
So that's the attack block, and then you deal all of this stuff
Yeah.
to deal 10 damage to it.
Yeah.
Done. Right. So you
Okay.
get 4 fame, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to level up.
Okay.
You also put one of your tokens on the keep. That is your keep.
Okay.
So if anybody else moves onto this space, they fight a random grey monster,
Yeah.
get half the fame, but then they take the keep off you.
Right. Okay.
Okay? So it's your keep. Only you can get the benefit of that keep because it's yours.
Right.
There are 2 benefits of that keep. The first benefit is... No, it's not here. But if there was a unit that could be recruited in keeps, you could recruit it.
Right.
And the second benefit is if you end your turn on or adjacent to one of your keeps, your hand size is increased by 1 for every keep that you control on the board.
Oh, okay.
Because they are supplying you.
Right. Okay.
Okay? So if you, again, if we're playing the full game, I played the full game once, I had 3 keeps, which meant I ended my turn next to one of my keeps, I drew 3 extra cards,
Yeah, yeah.
which is, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Right. And I think you're done.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that goes.
I guess
That gets
we roll.
re-rolled. Cards that you played are discarded. You can discard any other cards if you want to.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
fine.
you've leveled up.
Okay.
So it's level 3, which is just another one of those tokens. So it goes there.
Okay.
And we're done.
Yep.
And your hand size is 1 more because of your keep.
So resistance to physical attack.
Yeah.
Oh, because I'm on it.
You're on it. Yeah. Right. Okay. Norawas.
I was going to move and explore.
Okay. So pop a card under the sparing power. Right. So it'll be 3 movement points to move here,
Yeah.
and then it'll be another 2 to explore.
Does the orange scar me?
It's brutal. I mean, double damage.
Oh, what?
Mm-hmm.
That's bad.
Yeah, that is the toughest orc.
So
Right
if I
next
take
to
a
me.
mana for that.
Taking the green mana
Yeah.
for the march. That's 4 movement.
4. And then I've got that one.
For 6.
6.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's fine.
Yeah.
So you move to here
Yeah.
for 3, and then you explore. Ooh. I've been shuffling them accidentally. I was going to say, I thought we had 1 left. So there is a rule about core tiles.
Right.
Core tiles cannot be placed on the coastline.
Okay.
Right. Tile number 9. We have another tower, but even though you're next to it, it's night time, which means it stays face down.
Okay.
If you wanted to attack it, it would be a random attack. We have a keep over here, and we have another dungeon here, and we have some mountains as well, which are inaccessible. Right. Only core tiles left. The city is in one of these 3.
Yeah.
And I'm going to shuffle them again just because I like shuffling. Right, okay. Did I give you a fame for exploring? I didn't. It's still your go.
Okay. I think I'm done. I can't move, so.
Well, it's 2 moves to here. Remember, any card can be played sideways, but you might want to keep them. I don't know.
Yeah, they're not too bad, are they?
Yeah.
No.
Especially if you want to be attacking here next.
Yeah. Okay, so you're going to stick there?
Yeah.
There is another thing as well that we forgot to do.
What?
Well, your skill. You actually
Okay.
have 1 free movement point.
Okay.
Every turn you've got 1 extra movement point because this this unit is
No,
not spent.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it would actually only be 1 other card if you wanted to move to here.
Oh, so does that mean that you could have kept that?
Or you
card?
could have kept that
You
card
could
in.
have just moved with that one
Well, how much
because you had a
movement was it?
green
No, you
Yeah.
needed
5,
I
isn't
need-
1, 2, 3,
and then 2,
4,
3,
5. You needed
Yeah.
5.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a
Oh yeah,
4.
actually, there you go. Yeah,
So
so
you
you can
could-
keep that card,
Okay.
So you could keep that or use that.
or use
to
it now to
that.
move there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, just means you're a little bit further ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
To a degree, we want to be getting down
The
here,
tower's
don't
going to
we?
be coming
Yes.
out at some point.
Yeah, the
Because
city.
that's
The
the
city
key
is
part of it,
is
is
somewhere.
finding-
Yeah. The goal of this scenario is to find the city.
So you could spend lots of time
Mhm.
exploring and
Yeah.
building up before you get there,
Yeah.
or you could kind of go charging off.
Okay. Finally, a Mage Knight tutorial from Gaming Rules. Yes, as I say, it's kind of been my destiny to do this. So in fact, I don't know if you knew this, but there's a Paul Grogan YouTube channel. So not a Gaming Rules YouTube channel. There's a
Okay.
Paul Grogan YouTube channel. And on that channel is a tutorial video for Mage Knight, created by me about 8 years ago with a very, very old camera. It's awful. It's really,
Yeah,
really
So worth it
bad.
for comedy value.
People have said it's brilliant. People loved it, but
Right.
it was filmed like 640 by 360 with a camera balanced on a book, and it's yeah. But it was there. It's the first ever
Cool.
rules video that I did. Yeah, it's very old. Right. Anyway, meanwhile, where are we up to? Are you meditating?
Yes, I was going to do
You
that, so
are.
I can put this in my deck.
Including wounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we haven't mentioned this because people don't have many wounds, but if you have an ability on a card that says discard a card, it cannot be a wound
Right.
unless it
Unless it
specifically
says so,
says
yeah.
including wounds.
Yeah, I got one that says
The
that.
other thing we haven't mentioned is resting. So when it's your turn, you actually have two choices. You either play a turn as normal or you rest. Resting is the only way to get rid of wounds from your hand, and you don't get rid of them permanently, you discard them.
Right.
So when you rest, you discard one non-wound card and then any number of wound cards.
Okay.
So if you were there with 4 wound cards in hand, you'd rest.
Yeah.
Yeah? The wounds would go to your discard pile, so they're going to come back. Old wounds are going to
Next. but that'll be
reopen
next round.
next round.
Yeah.
And resting is effectively skipping a turn.
I'm actually going to shuffle in my amulet this time.
Okay?
So,
So
okay, so I
shuffle
shuffle
up to
in
5 cards,
and then draw. So I could draw them again.
back into your deed deck and draw, and then that's that done. I'm just going to remove it.
So I could just draw them again.
You could just draw them again.
So I want my move, I want my attack.
What are you planning to do? Oh, you're over there with the orcs.
I'm going to the dungeon.
The dungeon?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
That's my current plan. Whether
Nice.
that's going to be the case or not.
You want more
So-
artifacts?
Yeah. Because those orcs are just crappy. Don't like them.
Okay. So 3 new cards. Ooh. Oh, there's the wound.
Oh, unfortunate.
Yeah,
But
unfortunately.
not too bad.
I should get royalty payments for the upsurge in Mage Knight sales I predict over the next month. I'm just happy that the game's got a new lease of life because of the Ultimate Edition and more people are discovering the game.
So. Okay. Interesting. When it says discard another card from your hand, can you discard wounds?
Yep.
Damn. I'd be asking too much.
I just said
wouldn't
that.
it? Did you?
I did.
I was paying attention to my cards. So, I'm moving 4.
Okay. Right. And as your action, are you going to enter the dungeon?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, right. So you enter the dungeon. So it's counted as night time. Your units won't go with you. And you draw a
Okay.
random brown monster.
Yep.
What have you found down the dungeon?
One of them.
Ah, it's a Medusa.
The Medusa. What's this thing?
Paralysis.
Oh, what?
Right. If you take
I was going to go down there, but he's just changed my mind.
if you take a wound
Right.
from the Medusa,
Yes.
you immediately discard all non-wound cards from your hand.
Okay.
If a unit takes any damage from a paralysis,
Can't-
it's
not using
destroyed.
him. No, we're not using him.
Right. So first of all, do you have ranged attack 4?
Nope.
That's a shame.
Well, I've got a range attack 3. I
Right.
haven't got very many range attack cards.
Are you going to block 6? If you don't,
Potentially.
you're going to lose all the cards in your hand.
Well, I can block 6, but it's with my attack cards.
Yeah. But if you don't, you're going to lose.
Oh,
them.
actually, wait a sec. We've got a green one over
this
there.
This is not good. You shouldn't have done this.
You don't think?
No.
Okay, so I can concentrate with a green
Okay, well, we'll see if
sauce.
you can do it. If you can do it, it's be ace.
When you play this, play another action card
Yeah,
with a thingy.
yeah,
I'll discard another card from my hand.
yeah,
I could do it for free, but then I'd have to discard that, and then it's a can't attack.
yeah. Oh, you need to save that for the
For the attack.
attack. Oh,
Because I can do that to be block 7.
You're one
Have you
block
not discarded
short.
a card?
You are one block short.
If only I hadn't a flaming drawn that when I did
Yeah.
my meditation.
Right then. What do you want to do?
Because I'm going to get a hit, aren't I, before I attack?
And the hit's going to lose all the cards from your hand.
Yeah. So it's either discard the cards and have no cards in my hand, or get hit and lose all the
lose
cards.
all the cards in your hand. So you lose all the cards from your hand and block 6.
Maybe you shouldn't have run into the dungeon.
Well, I didn't know what was going to come out, did I?
There's the yeah.
That's what I was going to do. I'm glad he's changed my mind. Then. Is that a particularly bad dungeon creature, or is that typical of the type of thing?
Yeah, I mean,
Middle-
they're all
mid-range.
slightly
That's
different.
mid-range,
I mean,
isn't it?
if you had ranged attack 4, easy, it's gone, dead.
Right, okay.
You know,
Yeah.
but that is going to disappear. Whether he defeats it or not,
It
that's
goes.
going to
I
go,
just don't get any bonus.
and you'll get a random one next time.
Yeah,
However,
so basically
once
it
you
could
know
be
the
worse.
game and you know the tile mix, you know that that's gone.
yeah, right.
So you know you can
Yeah,
see
so
what's
basically I
there.
just used all my cards.
Use all your cards, block
For nothing.
6, and then the Medusa disappears.
And I get now.
Nout,
But I can't go in there anyway because he's stood.
because he's stood there.
Yeah.
I reroll that. That goes to that.
Gold. Right, you'll go.
Oh, what a swizz.
Yeah.
Well, you were doing too well anyway.
And I used the green sauce anyway. Didn't
You did.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't use that to heal that wound
No.
either.
Okay. Right, Goldix.
Right, so
There's far too much rubbish
Have a look.
around here. I want 6 movement ideally. So
Yeah, there's a big forest ahead of you, and it's night time
I was considering going a different way.
next to the swamp.
Yeah, because the swamp's as bad as the forest.
Yeah,
And then that's
They built a
3, 6,
village in the swamp. Why?
It fell down, they built another
Yeah.
one.
and going to the
That burned down.
monastery.
Then some, then they built another one.
What would be the point of going to there?
A number of things. You can recruit. Nothing. No, you can recruit these two.
Right.
You could learn these. You could heal, or you could burn it down.
Right. Yeah, not really getting much out of any of that.
Thea's past is catching up to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a little bit. Rampage of killing orcs. And then I burnt the monastery down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All these good deeds.
I'm still liked.
Everybody's now below 0 on the reputation track.
Yeah. Ish liked.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't go. If I go across here, this will attack me. Won't it?
Yeah. If you move from there to there, that will attack you.
And that's
So that's
double damage.
brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It basically means
If I
it's
can't
block
block
4, but if you don't block it, it's treated as 8 damage,
Yeah.
which for you would be 3 wounds,
Yeah.
which you could then heal to straight away. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Not too
it's
bad, then.
yeah, because that is awesome. I mean, all the skills are awesome, but
Yeah. So
Yeah, heal 2.
so if I this is probably me. I don't know. Who knows? We'll find out.
so
So if I go
improvisation,
improvisation with that,
discarding another card
which I'm going to discard that.
to get move 5,
Yeah. And then
move 7.
so
Yeah, you were 1 short,
I
weren't
know.
you?
It's like, oh.
do I need to defeat that 4? Right, okay. So
3. No, 6, because it's got physical resistance.
oh, okay. Damn it. That changes it slightly.
That's why I was like,
You
I'm
can
not
still
bothered
do
fighting
it.
those crappy orcs.
Or can you?
No, I don't think I can.
I mean, you've got your crystals. Yeah, you can. You've got a blue crystal.
Which takes that to a block 5, not an attack, which is a bit of a shame.
Your peasants are spent,
Yeah, peasants are spent for now.
so you need the rage and the determination to kill it.
There's these guys as well.
Yeah.
So, how much
Oh,
did I
if
get
you
to?
start your turn at night on a magical glade, you get a black mana.
Okay.
Forest is 5 to move through, and those are.
Yeah, I mean, you could go 1 to 7 if you've got 7 movement points, you could end up there.
Oh, okay. Oh, you can move through someone.
You can move through someone, you just can't end the turn on the same space as them. Give them a kick on the way past.
Hey,
Yeah, I'll go that way.
Okay,
And I'll end there.
right.
fly over me.
So, are you going to challenge the orcs?
What was your movement?
7.
Yeah.
You had exactly 7.
Yeah, well, I'll
Can't
challenge the orcs.
Right, so do you have 3 points of non-physical ranged attack?
Oh, hold on. That's.
It's the same as those ones. These 2 orcs. are the
Oh,
same.
okay. So I need 6 to defeat it.
You would need 6, yeah, which you've got. Haven't you?
4 on 2.
You've been
Ranged
used
and
the
No,
red.
but I used the red already, so I
you-
can't take another one from there.
What's
I've got white, red, and blue over there.
Let's just have a look at Crystal Joy. Okay, yeah, you can do it.
I can use.
You can play Crystal Joy,
Yeah.
paying blue to take a crystal of any colour,
That's red.
take a red,
Okay. To be able
use
to
the
attack
red
4.
to power that, so you could.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Let's go for that.
But you haven't got any block.
Yeah, so no block. So you're going to be taking 8 damage because it's brutal.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
8 damage.
8 damage.
Divided
So
by 3. So 3.
if you take it, it's 3 wounds on you, or
Yeah.
you could wound the peasants and 2 wounds on you.
I'm gonna wound the peasants.
So yeah, so wound the peasants, and then that's 5 left, which is 2 wounds on you.
Yeah.
There you go.
Can you use the peasants even if it's night time and things like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Just
even
can't
if they're
use them.
spent, you can still use them to take wounds.
Throw them in
But
front
you
of the
can't
monster.
use them again
Yeah.
to take wounds. Now that they're wounded, you can't use them again.
So I can use that blue crystal to get a red crystal.
Yeah, so you put that blue into there to get a red crystal,
Yeah.
and then you use the red
And
crystal
then I
on
use
the,
red
on the
crystal
rage.
on the rage to get attack 4.
Yeah,
Plus attack 2 from determination gets me. Oh no, I don't need that.
It was
do
just
I?
the line night rules apply for the combat. And
yeah, you do
units
because
cannot
it's
be
it's
used.
halved.
Oh, because I need
It's
attack
halved.
6.
So there's the attack 6. Because it's physical, it's halved down
Yeah.
to 3,
Okay.
which is enough to kill it.
Right.
So you get 4 fame.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, and a reputation because it's an orc.
Okay.
There you go.
Cool.
Very cool. Healing.
That's another one
You
gone
can use
into
your
Yeah.
special ability.
So you can flip that over to heal 2. And no. What you want to do is you
You
want to
wanna heal
heal that and that,
Yeah.
because the healing from the magical glade
Oh yeah.
isn't heal 1. It's you can heal a wound from either your discard pile or your hand.
Right.
So the healing from the magical glade cannot be on units.
Right. Okay. So I
basically.
want to heal it off there.
So heal
that-
2 off there,
yeah.
and then the magical glade gets rid of that one.
When does wounds go in your discard pile?
When you rest, or if you're poisoned.
Okay.
Yeah.
That goes over there.
You're going to start the next turn with a black mana because you're on a magical glade.
Okay.
So I'll give it you now. I don't think you can use it, but you can have it anyway. Right.
You gone through all your cards already?
Yeah.
Wow. So, sparing power. Are you going to put another card underneath it? You are. That means next turn's going to be incredible.
Well, yeah,
Well,
because
turn
this
out.
turn's not going to be very good.
Okay. What you got?
I've only got attack really, or those which,
So you go into the tower, or you go to the dungeon.
but I
Or
haven't
you
got any
could-
move.
You've no move, so you could. Well, you've got
I've
one
got
free
one,
movement point, so
yeah.
therefore one card sideways
Oh yeah,
is a move.
so I could do 2. So I could move.
It's got
Yeah.
there.
You could move to
And
there
use the
and attack the
spell.
orc. You could.
No, I don't think so.
No, I mean you use the spell sideways as
Yeah.
a movement. If you're not going to use that spell for anything else,
You need black mana for that, don't you?
no, the top effect is just white.
Mm.
Oh, I see.
The bottom effect is black and white.
Uh-huh.
No, I don't think I.
Okay. So you play that sideways as the extra movement. That
Yeah.
moves you to here,
Okay.
and then are you able to
So if you need to use a white mana for that then?
No.
Oh no, 'cause
playing
you're just
it
using for
sideways
yeah.
is just one movement.
I've got
You've got attack 4.
yeah,
Okay, so you've got enough to kill it.
yeah.
Are you happy to take a random brown monster?
Is going to attack you.
Yeah, because I've got a that's block 5.
That's
Well,
fine.
Yeah, that comes because that was what you were going to use to attack with. So.
Yeah, but I've got these. Oh,
Mm.
okay. So I use both, do I?
Well, no. Well, we'll see what comes up.
Yeah, we'll see what
Yeah.
comes up.
You might decide to just take the damage.
So you're going to challenge the orc.
Yeah.
So if you've got ranged 4, you can kill it before it summons the creature.
No.
No?
Much range.
It would say ranged attack.
It would say ranged attack. So we get a random brown monster. Let's see what we got.
A Minotaur.
Minotaur.
That's all right. That thing is
Yeah.
well, it's double damage, isn't
It's
it?
double damage. It's a bad one to draw as a summoned. So have you got 5 block?
Yeah, if I use that.
Don't forget you've also got your unit as well. Whatever that can do.
Oh yeah.
5 block, ice block, normal attack, or block 2.
Okay. But if you've got block 5,
Well, you need a blue mana,
you get
and
blue.
there isn't blue.
You do have.
Yes, but I've,
Yeah, I've got concentration, gain a blue, white, or red mana.
There you
token.
go.
yeah,
So you could just play concentration to get a
Sorry.
blue mana.
yeah.
That spell needs to come up here as well.
Yeah.
So that's then done. Okay, and then you can put the blue mana onto the
This one.
determination.
Yeah,
Pop that
just
up
block
here.
two.
So there's the block 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Minotaur has been blocked and disappears.
Then you want to use your red source. to
And
attack
then,
4.
yeah, red from the source.
Yeah.
On the rage. Kill the summoner.
Yeah.
Awesome. There you go.
Nice.
4 fame.
That
1, 2, 3, 4. And 1 reputation. Honestly, I'm not a bad guy.
See, I just killed an
I'm
orc.
trying not to.
Yeah. And you're going to level up at the end of your turn. And that is the end of your turn, I
Yes,
think.
I think it is.
Okay, so level up, which is level 3. So you just flip over the next level token, put it here, so you can have an extra unit,
Okay.
and draw to your hand size.
You move all that dice. Okay.
Right, Arithea, what you going to do? You going to go down the dungeon again?
Well,
Or are you going to rest?
I haven't got much to do. No, I'm going to mana pull with a white source.
So what about that?
Take 2 mana dice from the source and set them to any colour except gold.
Okay,
So I want a green. Gain a mana token for each of these colours. I'll have 2 greens.
okay, and don't re-roll them when you put them back.
Yep.
Okay, so you gain 2 green mana.
Yep.
And then they're not in the source yet, but
Heal 2.
nice. And that spends that unit.
So it's gone. And then I'm assuming I'm going to move 4 with the other green one. That's my plan.
Yeah.
I might go back to the monastery.
Yeah. Wonder what you're going to do
I
then.
might burn that one down depending on the cards I get. So that's that one done.
With that.
Yeah. So that's that done.
Yeah.
Might as well save that one, I think.
Okay.
In case I might need a range attack 3.
Yeah, you
Might
might.
be useful. So that one gets rolled back.
That gets rolled. Those 2 don't get rolled. And you are done.
Yes.
Okay. Goldix.
Oh.
Explore.
Okay, so 1 fame for exploring.
Level up. That one.
It is the city. You have found the city.
Oh.
So
First-
it goes
first one.
there. Right. So I'm going to put the city on here.
Oh.
We have a monastery, so we're going to get another advanced action into this offer here. And we also have a draconum. Draconum operate in the same way as orcs, in that they are rampaging enemies. So they have a threat zone around them, and you can't move near them.
Protecting that.
But they are worth 2 reputation if you defeat them, because they're a little bit tough.
Did you level up?
Just,
He's going to at the end of the...
That was from the explorer I leveled up.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Okay,
From
so this is the High Dragon.
Oh.
Right. So it has 9 armour, but it is resistant to fire and ice, but it's not resistant to physical. Okay, so physical attack of 9 is enough to kill it.
Blood rage.
Its attack is cold fire
Okay.
of 6.
Gosh.
And the only... there isn't really block against it. So
Okay.
any block that you play against
Yeah,
it
it's only fire
is
on
is
ice,
half
not
effective.
Cold fire.
Okay, and it's brutal. So you are going to take a huge amount of damage from this. You'd need 12 block, 12 normal block, but it is worth 9 fame. Okay,
Gosh.
dragons are super tough. So the objective of this scenario is to actually find the city, which you have now done. So let's just have a look. End of the game. The first scenario is almost over when the city tile is revealed. Each player, including the one who revealed the city, will get 1 more turn and then the game is finished. So we didn't even make it through the second round.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What did I say, sorry?
Once the city has been found,
One more
everybody gets 1 more turn, including the player who found the city.
Oh.
And then we do final scoring.
Gosh.
Again, it's a learning game. It's an introductory game.
Oh.
Well, you're going to get to burn down the monastery.
You are
I'm
gonna
gonna
get to go
try.
down.
I'm gonna
Right.
try.
So you finish your current turn.
Yeah. Which is almost like nothing left to do, really.
We started at 1 then, didn't we? It's been nearly 3 hours.
Do you want to move next to the dragon and possibly attack it next turn just for a laugh?
Well, these are all the cards I've got left.
Oh, in your whole right. Okay.
Yeah, it's the end of night for me.
Okay.
We haven't gone through the whole day, yeah, or day and night.
Golems
I am.
has.
Yeah.
I almost have.
So we got 3 movement.
Epic go.
Oh wow, no, not really.
Well, I could.
You could. Yeah.
May as well.
Yeah, go on. 3 movement puts you in the hills. Right.
What do I want? Oh no.
Yeah,
It's
go
Stone
on.
Glade.
And then you end your turn.
Then I'm a 10.
Right. So
Yeah.
those go.
Yep.
And you've leveled up. So 2 new skills.
Is there one on here that says kill a dragon?
Nope. Right, now you can choose either one of those,
Yeah.
or you can choose one of these, but you can't choose your own.
Oh, okay.
So the one that you decided not to take earlier, you cannot choose that one.
Yeah.
Okay? So you're going to get one of those 2, and one of those 3, or that one, which means you would have to take that one.
Right.
Ranged attack 4.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, it looks decent, doesn't
That is basically flight.
it? Okay.
You flip it over and you move either to an adjacent space or spend 2 move to go to 2 spaces away, but it doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity, I believe,
And doesn't worry about how many movement points, I guess.
and terrain types
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Yeah.
Jump over mountains.
Well, as we're going to end, I'll take that one.
Okay. So that goes
So
over
I'll
here, and then you choose one of these, which goes on top of your deck, which you will then draw immediately. Okay. Now slide down. You get a new one. We are done. So Norowasi's last turn. So you might as well take all of them. Right. What awesomely epic stuff are you going to be able to do?
I'm just going to rest.
You're going to have a lie down.
Look at this place, yes.
Yeah, you could go to the ruins and see what's there, or you could come back here and try and beat up this mage tower, or you could explore here and see what's here.
Which I think exciting.
How much movement will it cost to explore?
To explore is 2 movement.
2. Okay, because I've got lots of movement.
And it'll take how much to go to the ruins? 3.
5.
Oh, 5.
Because it's not. It's a
night.
forest at night. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I try the explore.
Okay. So 1 fame for exploring.
Ooh.
What have we got? Ooh. So that goes there. Ah, so we have another ruins.
Oh, another dragon.
We have another dragon. This time we have
Yeah, and
the
a keep.
swamp dragon.
And
We have a
keep.
blue crystal mine, and we have another keep. There we go. So it's actually 5 movement to go into the forest, and it's 4 movement to go into the wasteland. So if you can generate 4 movement,
I've got 4
Swift.
movement.
Oh.
it's twice as hard to block.
Is keeping range attack
Yeah.
have any benefit at this point? Probably not.
If you can do ranged 9,
No, only
Okay.
3.
I mean, yeah, there's a dragon as well. If you can take on that dragon,
Yeah.
Kill it.
it's worth 7 fame.
Would that take 9
So
attack?
here's how the dragon works. Yeah, if you can do 9 points of ranged combat, great, it's dead.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, its attack is 5, but it's got swiftness.
Mm.
Swiftness means that its attack is doubled for the purpose of blocking.
Mm-hmm.
So it would take 10 block to block it, but if you don't block it, it's only 5 damage. But it's also
It'd
We've
be,
got
it'd be 2
4.
damage. Last turn?
It's also poisoned. Yeah, but wounds count as negative score at the end.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
And then you would need. So let's work backwards. Can you do 9 normal attack?
So is that 4? Do I use
Let's have a look at it.
And it's got attack.
So if you used a red mana, that would be fire block 4.
Block. Not
Yeah, fire block, not attack.
Oh, block.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
normally
So you can
they
attack
can do
two,
attack
though,
2.
can you?
They can do attack 2 normally.
So, no, I can't do attack then.
Attack 2, attack 6.
Well, you can do attack 9.
Yeah,
7, 8,
If
9.
you
You,
can
you
turn
definitely
cards
can do
sideways.
it.
Yeah.
It's just how you do it.
right.
Because you can always just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can do the attack 9.
Yeah.
So the question is,
Can
are
you get
you then going to be able to do 10 block? And if you can't do 10 block, how much damage would you take? Yeah, it wouldn't kill you.
That would be 4, wouldn't it?
But you got 9
Or
fame.
well, you could put some on the golem.
7.
Can you put any on?
Yeah,
seven?
you can put some on the golems.
7 fame.
How much can you put on the golem?
Well, the thing is, the golems have got physical resistance. We haven't covered this yet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So let's work this out. If you don't block it, and it would be 10 block because it's swift. So if you don't block it, it's 5 damage.
Mm-hmm.
But it's 5 physical damage.
Mm.
If you were to assign that damage to the golems, because they've got physical resistance, the first 3 of that 5 is gone.
Right.
Just
Okay.
disappears.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's left over is 2, which is enough. So actually, you wouldn't take any damage from these at all.
Even though that's doubled because of the poison.
It's not double.
Oh, okay.
It means if you take a wound, you take an extra
Oh, you
wound.
take an
so
extra
the
wound.
unit
So
would
because
actually
the
get
golem's
2
taken-
wounds.
Right. Okay.
And that's how a unit can get 2 wounds.
Ah.
So you wouldn't take any damage from this because you've got the perfect unit to protect you against the
Dragon.
damage against that particular dragon. Not this one. Be
No.
no good against that one.
No.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so,
So you need to get there.
So you've
So
got to
first of
move
all,
forward.
you need 4 movement to get onto the wasteland.
right, so I've got those 2. Or
Yeah.
Don't forget you've got a free 1 as well, which you've not
Oh,
used
yeah,
yet
there.
from your skill.
So would you need just
I
3?
still need. No, I need 4, don't I?
If
You've
there
got
is
3
combat
ones.
in the second ruin, the dragon
Yeah, you
gets
need
involved
3
in the
'cause you've
combat.
got
Are you
3
sure about that? I think that's only when you assault. I think that's only when you assault.
Oh, in this ruin, you're going to go
Yeah.
around on it.
Yeah, I don't think that happens.
So because you've moved on it,
Yeah.
doesn't automatically.
No.
That was to reveal the territory.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Is there a card for the ruin?
So that's move 2.
Yeah.
You need move 4.
Plus your 1
Plus your 1 is 3.
is
yeah.
3. You need 1 more move.
So you could either use that use the swiftness. You may as well.
Yeah, 'cause it's an adventure side.
Okay.
instead.
So you move on to here. So
Yeah.
because you've moved on to here, we now reveal this ruin.
Right.
Okay, so this is a ruin. You've now got a choice. You can either attack the dragon
Yeah.
as an action, or you can enter the ruin. If you enter the ruin, you're going to fight a grey monster and a white monster together at the same time. But if you succeed, you get an artifact and a spell. Right? This is amazing. This is the most powerful ruin in the game, but it's the hardest one. I would probably recommend not doing that
Okay, for the dragon.
because you've already worked out you can do the dragon,
Yeah.
whereas this is a bit of an unknown.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to challenge the dragon as your action.
Yeah.
So you don't have ranged 9,
No.
so you can't kill it in the ranged phase.
No.
So now you need to do block 10. We've worked out you can't do block 10.
Right.
So it's doing 5 damage.
Yeah.
You decide to allocate the damage to the golem, and because the golem has physical resistance, 3 of that 5 disappears.
Yeah.
2 left. Goes on the golem. 2 wounds because it's poison, and that's it. And now you need to hit it for 9.
Okay. So I need my red. I need to use the red.
There is a red.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that goes there.
That's 4.
4.
Yes, so I know rampaging enemies get involved in adjacent combat, but I think,
Oh no.
and correct me if I'm wrong, it's not just
You got it wrong.
adjacent combat. It's
What,
if you
had
assault
loads
a
of cards
city,
minute ago?
Did you use
rampaging
ones
enemies come in.
That was an attack.
Swift.
No. We've
4,
only got-
5, 6, 7, 8.
We've only got attack.
Yeah, but can we not still do it?
No.
You sure?
Yeah. We're a card
What,
short.
what about drawing extra cards, or what about mana pool to? Have we got any other attacks?
Well, rejuvenate was drawing cards, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. Because I've got this, I can use to draw 2 more cards.
Yeah, but then that's 2 cards
cards
gone.
Yeah.
Oh, are we one
What
short?
have you got? You got 1 card left.
Depends
Yeah.
what that card is. If that's an attack 2 or something, or attack
Well,
4.
have a look, because you would know what that card is.
Oh, it's your hero.
No,
Tau,
so-
Tau.
So if you were to use the rejuvenate to draw a card,
Mm.
it would just be swapping 1 card for another one.
Right.
So you can't do it?
Don't think so.
No clever
Rejuvenate.
shenanigans, tricks.
Rejuvenate won't help with the unit because it says already a level 1 or 2 unit.
If you read it him, he's got
It's
attack
not
2.
actually used.
He's not actually used.
No, it's
so-
not been used, but it can't be used now because it's wounded.
Right.
You can't heal him? Heal 2?
Heal 1.
And the bottom
The
one.
bottom one.
We've
yeah.
already used the top, but you can use that
And it's a
again.
level 2 unit, so it requires 2 points of healing to heal 1 wound.
Oh.
And it needs both hit
Yeah.
both
Oh, yeah,
wounds
before
heal
you use-
before you can use it?
Yeah.
That was close.
Yeah. Never mind.
Okay, so we undo.
Undo.
Yeah, we just don't do that.
Don't bother attacking.
Okay.
So
that goes back.
pop that red card back. Pop the red die back here.
You don't do those moves.
No. Well, no. Do the moves
Yeah.
because this has been revealed.
Changed. Yeah.
So we
Okay.
can't undo
Right.
beyond that.
Yeah.
Can't attack the
But
monster.
what you can do, if you want to, is you can try taking them. Because even if you don't defeat both of them, you'll still get some fame.
And those wounds will come off again.
Yeah, those wounds are not there.
Not considered getting the wounds a game-changing action.
No, because no new information has been revealed. So yeah, this is enemies with treasures. When entering such a ruin, you draw the depicted enemies and you fight them. So you might as well. Right, so you draw one of those and one of those,
Yeah.
and you fight them together. Dear. Well.
They're nice.
Well, it
Right.
didn't get any better.
So ranged combat first. Do you have any ranged combat?
I did.
You
No.
did use that for movement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't matter anyway. You don't have enough to do those.
No ranged combat?
Nope.
Okay, right. So this is hitting you for 6.
Yeah.
And this is hitting you for 3 ice with swiftness and paralysis. Oh dear.
So can the golem do ice block 4?
Yes.
Okay, so the way that
Blue
block
top.
works for elements is the opposite. If you think about it thematically, if somebody's casting a fireball at you,
You
the
want
best
ice
protect
block.
you want ice block.
Block.
Yeah.
So
Fire
ice,
block 4.
ice block, yeah. So fire block 4 would normally be okay, but it's swift, so it actually needs
Or
fire block 6.
Right.
Right?
I've got a
Is what you
Typical.
would-
That's just
normal
normal
block.
block,
Yeah.
so that won't work.
Well, no, normal block it would be halved. So if we can get fire block 4,
Yeah.
right? That's 4 out of the 6.
So you need another 2.
2.
No.
Yeah, but that's halved. So that's
Yeah.
actually another 1.
Need
Yeah.
4. Yeah, and then you're not going to be able to attack it anyway. So
Yeah. So I can't do anything.
You can get bashed by both of them. So can you undo?
Yeah,
undo?
unfortunately, because this is paralysis,
Yeah.
that means you lose all your cards.
you're going to lose all your cards. If you take any damage from this, you're going to lose all your cards.
So-
Otherwise, you could have just taken the damage, hit this, and got a few fame.
Well, can you not turn a card sideways to block?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so you
but-
could
You have to
use
turn
that.
2 for 1 because it's got swift.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
It
But
is
if you
possible.
do that, then at least you're blocking this one and you're not paralysed.
Okay.
okay. So let's go through that. So you're powering up the fire block of the golems.
Yeah.
So you spend the unit, you put the red mana on it. So that's fire block 4. You've then got a block 2 from somewhere.
Which is that one?
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is halved down to 1.
Yeah.
And then another block 2, which is halved down to 1. So that is the block
For
the
that
ice.
one.
4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
So that's blocked.
Yeah.
Right. This then hits you for 6 damage.
Can't block it with either then, can you?
Okay.
No.
Which again, you could
2
now put on
damage.
there. So that absorbs the first 3 because it's got physical resistance.
So that's. Oh, okay.
And then that's wounded. Right. And now, can you kill either of them?
Don't think so.
Oh.
Don't think so. No.
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 You did your best.
I did.
Yeah.
You did your best. Right. I mean, yeah, this, as I say, this was the toughest ruin. But the rewards for doing it would have been amazing. Right.
So it's
Your
my
last
turn.
turn.
Yes. I'm going to burn down the monastery.
Oh, here we go again. So, 1, 2, 3. A
Mhm.
random purple monster.
Mhm. Come on. Yep.
It's some more monks.
Some monks.
It's always monks in the monasteries. Right.
Who'd
You
have
got
thought
5 ranged attack.
Yes.
Have you?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm going to use crystallise on that to gain a crystal of any colour to your inventory, which is a white one.
Yeah.
And I'm using the white dice
Okay.
to do range attack 3 and range attack 3.
Done. Dead. See how easy it makes it?
So I get 4 fame.
Get 4 fame for doing that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you get one of those 2 on top of your
That's
deck.
pretty much it, isn't it, for burning down the monastery?
Yeah. Your last turn. Can you fight the dragon?
No.
Not quite. You can flip that over to get a blue crystal.
Wow. What?
No, I get a blue crystal and a green
And a green mana.
and a green mana.
Yeah.
Just
So you've got a
spend.
black mana, a green mana.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to have another go, isn't it?
Loads of mana
Yeah.
that don't do anything. I can put that up to an attack 4,
Yeah.
but there's still, and I could use a white there. Ranged attacks, no
Um,
benefit.
Let's have a look. Yeah, I mean, if you do ranged attack of 9, it's
Right,
dead.
okay, so, yeah, no. No, there's nothing I can do there, so there's no point.
Okay. So we are done.
Just go.
It is time to add up the final score. So we have achievement bonuses, which I didn't mention at the
Oh,
start.
I leveled up.
Oh, you did. So you get a skill, which doesn't matter, and you get one of them, which doesn't matter.
Yay. 2 wounds.
Heal 2 wounds, I
Heal
think.
2 wounds.
No, it's return, discard 2 wounds, I think. Something like that. Anyway, right.
And these would go back on.
So final scoring. So get your deck and all of your cards that are in it. Every spell that you have is worth 2
So it
fame.
must be leveling up then. Oh, their spell.
Yeah, but I said the card is whichever card it was didn't matter.
Okay.
So you had a spell, I believe, Vashti?
I did somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get 2 fame for that spell.
Yeah.
Every advanced action that you have in your deck is worth 1.
It's an advanced action.
Yeah, which you would have got for leveling up. An advanced action looks exactly the same as an action,
Mm.
but it doesn't have your character symbol in the top right.
Right.
Okay.
So I think you 2 have got 2 each because you leveled up.
Yeah, I have got 2.
I've got 2.
That's it. Yeah. So you got 1 from that, and you 2 have got
2.
2 each. And then the player who got the most points from that, which is you,
Right.
gets an extra 3.
Oh, nice.
I need
1,
it.
2, 3. Okay. So that's the greatest knowledge. Next, the greatest loot. 2 points per artifact. Yeah. And 1 point for every 2 crystals. So you've got 7, and I'm going to give you the greatest one there. So you get 10.
Does that mean I level up again?
You've got 1.
Got 1.
No,
Yeah.
no, you got 1. How many crystals you got? No, no.
No.
Right. So that's the greatest loot. The greatest leader. The level of your units, but if they were wounded, it's halved. So you have 1 level worth of units. You've got 1 level worth of units, and you've got 1 level worth of units. So you all get 1 point. And
Is
then
that
you,
half to 0.5 or not?
no, because it was level 1.
Yeah, it's not half.
Yeah. So you all tied for the greatest leader, so you all get an extra 1. Right, next, the greatest conqueror. So we're looking at tokens that are on monasteries, keeps, and towers. They're worth 2 each.
I burnt down 2 monasteries.
So you burnt down 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you 2 each got a keep and a...
Yeah.
So 1, 2.
2.
Which means you're the greatest. 1, 2, 3. Next is the greatest adventurer, which is monster dens, dungeons, ruins, lairs, and tombs.
I don't think I've got
Nobody got any of those.
No, I tried. Didn't work.
-2 for every wound in your deck.
No, I healed them.
Anybody got any wounds?
I healed them.
Okay.
Good job,
The golem one
herbalists.
doesn't count.
No,
obviously.
that doesn't count. And so that would have been -2 and then -3 for the person with the most wounds. And that is it. So a stonking win for Arithea, burner of monasteries.
Yes.
Started off nice, but turned out evil in the end.
Yes.
Okay. So that is the end of the tutorial. You know 75% of the rules of the game.
Mm.
The bit that you haven't seen is the city combat.
Right.
And it was recommended to me when I announced that I was going to be doing this video that we should do a city combat just to tell you what it's all about. So the full scenario, if you were to play full conquest, it's 6 rounds, and with 3 players, if you're playing competitively, there will be 3 cities. Okay? So we will shuffle some extra city tiles into the bottom, because there are 4 cities, and we would choose 3 of them at random, and they would be here. And the reason why they are core tiles are only placed in the middle is so you don't get one player exploring a city here and basically reserving it for themselves.
Right.
So 3 cities will come out over the course of the game, which will end up here. It's kind of done in such a way that each of you should take on 1 city, but that's not always the case. If somebody decides to hang back here too long, it could be that one player ends up taking 2 cities themselves.
Right.
Why do you want to take on a city? Well, I'll explain why. So, at the start of the game, you actually decide what level city you want to play on. They go from 1 to 11. This game has customizable difficulty through the roof. Okay? Let's say we were going to play on difficulty level 4. Okay? So it means that the city itself has a card, which I did put to one side somewhere. Here we go. This is the blue city. Okay, and each city has special abilities. All of the cities are different. And then the blue city on level 4 comes with a white, a purple, and a grey token. So white, purple, and grey. Now these are always face up, even if it's night time, because if they were face down, the surprise value would be way too much.
Right.
You really need to see what's in there. So they are the occupants of the city, and if you want to attack the city, you have to move on there. It's an assault. You lose 1 reputation. It costs 2 movement points. It's always 2 for a city. And then you fight a combat, and you fight all of them at the same time. Okay. Now with the blue city, the special ability of the blue city is if any of them have elemental attacks, it's increased. And unfortunately, we've drawn these
Sure,
ones,
okay.
so that is not 3, that's 5, and this one would be 7.
Wow.
Okay. However, you would have played 6 rounds,
Mm-hmm.
and at the end of the 6th round, or sometime around maybe the end of the 5th, after you've built up your deck with like a couple of artifacts, spells, advanced actions, skills, everything else, you then go, right, I'm ready now, and I'm going to attack the city.
And taking that attack or that card that Ashley had for the sparing power.
Sparing power as well. Save up. You have a hand of maybe 9, 10 cards. You've got lots of advanced actions. You've got lots of skills, and you basically spend 5 minutes working out how you're going to do it.
Okay.
And that is the epic conclusion of how the game is. That's in competitive mode. Now, interestingly enough, even if you're playing competitively, if 2 people are next to a city, when one of them attacks, they can invite the other player to join in,
Okay.
even in competitive mode.
Right.
Because you're saying, look, shall we work together
Yeah.
temporarily just to do this? And if you agree, what happens is you decide, in this particular case, there would be 3 enemies. So you decide who's going to have 2 and who's going to have 1. Or somebody could say, I'll have all 3. But you don't want to do that, right? So you would agree beforehand who's going to get 2 and who's going to get 1. You shuffle them.
Yeah.
And then you're like, all right, there you go. You have them, you have that one. And you now each do your own fight.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
If you manage to defeat all the enemies, brilliant. The city's gone. You get loads of fame for defeating them. You put a counter on the city for each enemy you defeated. And the one with the most counters on there is the owner of the city, and they get some extra benefits. If you don't defeat them, then the ones that you defeat disappear, but the rest of them will stay on there. What was it? Was it that one?
It's on.
No, it wasn't that one. It was that one.
So it gets weakened.
They'll stay on there, and then you have to go back, and then you can have another go.
Right. Okay.
So even if you're playing competitively, you can still cooperate together with an attack on a city. If you're playing the cooperative version of the game, there is 1 more city than the number of players, and your objective is to defeat all cities by the end of round 6.
Right. Okay.
And again, you can customize them. So the recommended setup for the first game is that the cities, I think, are level 4, and the last city is level 7. And a lot of people can't beat it at that level. That's fine. Just reduce them. Play again. Make them levels 3 and 6. Reduce the levels of the city until you can beat them. I know people that play this with all cities at level 11
Okay.
and can still do it.
Yeah.
Because the skill factor in this game is actually quite high. It's all about timing, taking the right cards at the right time, managing your deck, managing your hand,
Yeah.
making the right decisions of, do I go there? When to go on. There's a gradual progression of skill level as it goes up. I can't defeat the cities at level 11, but I know people that can. And this is just the base game.
Yeah.
Right? The first expansion was Volcaire, which is a big bad enemy. And there are scenarios with Volcaire that's really cool. It's a big bad enemy who basically, there's a city on the board. Volcaire is marching towards that city. He's recruiting units along the way and gathering his army. Your objective is to get to the city, defeat the city yourself, and then garrison it and protect it when he attacks.
Okay.
Right? So that's quite a cool scenario. That's one of the Volcaire scenarios. And then there's 2 extra expansions in the game as well, designed by some hack from Devon. I wouldn't bother with them, they're not very good. But there you go.
Wow.
That's that is an introduction to Mage Knight. Was we about 3 hours then?
Yeah, 5+4.
There you go. Right, now, obviously this is my number one game of all time. I have thoroughly enjoyed this. It's been a long time since I've played it.
Great fun.
I'm going to let you talk now. Do a bit of a round the table discussion while I have a...
I want to play more.
Tell me if it was what you was expecting.
Yeah, it is what I was expecting. I love these kind of dungeony kind of games anyway, but it's got the whole puzzle element to it, which isn't just rolling a dice, did I fight a monster, oh I've rolled a 1 or I've rolled a 6.
Yeah, yeah.
It's working out which cards and choosing the right ones to improve your deck, how to level up stuff, choosing from your skills and then comboing them together, going to certain places at certain times. It's all very much more of a puzzle element than
Yeah,
just
it's
a normal
definitely-
dungeon fighter.
Yeah, definitely a lot of puzzles in there. And I like the fact that you get to go through all of your cards. That's been a frustration with other exploration games where you know you've got a bunch of cards in your deck that are really good, that are going to help you out, and they never come out.
They will come out in this game.
Yeah.
It's just...
It's how you use them and how you do it. So you've got more control, it feels like, rather than getting to a point where you fail at something because the right card didn't come out.
As you say,
You
things
can
got really
control
close, didn't it? One card away, and we've
You
did
were
it, or
one
one
card
card
away.
away from another. Oh, I've
Yeah.
just managed to do it.
I mean,
It's
I
really
remember
close.
demoing this game to a friend of mine about 4 or 5 years ago in this house. And again, we did this scenario.
Yeah.
And he got to a dragon. It was the last turn of the game, and he got to a dragon. And I said, nobody's ever defeated a dragon in first reconnaissance. I mean, you were nowhere close.
Yeah.
You were nowhere close.
Yeah,
weren't
no,
you,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And he did.
Well,
Because he had
yeah.
exactly the right
If I had
things
blood
and
rage
everything
or
else.
something.
Blood rage.
Yeah, you were one card away.
That was only
weren't you?
one card
Yeah,
away,
one
yeah.
card away.
Defeating them, yeah.
Yeah, which would have been.
You got a spell, which...
But that didn't feel like not doing that. Didn't suddenly feel like
No.
you've got to go back and. It didn't ruin the game, which I feel a lot of the times you get to those points and you don't succeed at something, and it's almost like
Yeah.
well, that's kind of just killed the game.
Yeah, which is why
Really.
the revert rule
I've spent
is
3
in there.
hours and
You've done it all.
nothing's happened. Yeah.
The downside is you've spent 5 minutes working out the puzzle. You thought you worked it out, and then somebody went,
Yeah, but it's not.
Which means,
it's
you
5 minutes
undo,
though, isn't it?
you do
Yeah,
something
yeah,
else.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you get that different.
It doesn't get
choice.
to the end of the game,
No.
roll the dice, and I've
Yeah.
died or whatever.
Yeah.
So was it what you two were expecting?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the little bits that you'd mentioned before,
Okay.
it was. Yeah, it's my only real experience of games like this is Gloomhaven and Arkham Horror. I would say is similar to me, and I think I prefer this to either of those as it stands. There is still an element of. I think the cards are easier to understand, certainly than Arkham Horror straight off the bat.
Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of them are just move 2, move 4, whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems a lot more
I mean, the combat is
straightforward. In
the
terms
combat
of-
is deterministic. The
Yeah.
only random element in the combat is the summoners, where it summons a random monster, or you go into a dungeon, which is a random monster.
Yeah.
Attacking the cities, you see exactly what's in there beforehand, and you
Yeah.
you work it out. And if you can't do it, you don't do it.
Yeah.
You do something else, or you go somewhere else. Yeah, I mean, I like that about the game, definitely. You know, the fact that the combat is
Yeah, you know
very
what
much
you know
a
what's
puzzle.
coming as well.
Yeah.
So you know like when the orcs have come out, you know exactly what you need to do in order to be able to take that on. So if you haven't got that in your hand, there's no point going over there because it's just gonna fail. But it gives you the opportunity to do that something else.
Yeah. So we didn't see the elite units. So again, these don't come out in first reconnaissance, but they do come out later on in the game. This is probably the most powerful one in the game.
So is this the more of these but more powerful?
Yeah.
Right.
Or is it? No, it's the Alter Mages. Yeah. But yeah, you get catapults. This is where siege combat comes in. So if you've got fortified enemies, you can do siege attack on them. But yeah, if you can imagine, if we were playing here and you got to level 7 or 8, you've got 4 of these skills. You've got 4 units.
Yeah.
You've got 8 cards in hand.
Yeah. it's a lot,
Literally,
isn't it?
right
Yeah.
now it looks impossible.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
all of a sudden you're like, and what artifacts did you get?
I got the Amulet of the Sun, which is gain a gold mana token. If played during the night, forests have their move cost reduced to 3. You can use gold mana and you reveal garrisons of nearby forest sites and
Yeah,
ruins
it
for
makes
the day.
it very, very bright.
Or same as the basic effect, except you get 3 gold mana tokens instead of 1.
Okay, so cool.
So
So 3 gold mana, which means you can power up 3 of your cards.
Yeah.
Diamond Ring. Gain a white mana token and a white crystal from inventory, fame +1.
They're boring.
What
you want?
Only the ones all I chose.
Yeah, what you want is...
Well, the other one, that book seemed pretty
The
good.
book's
but-
pretty good. I'm looking for the Horn of Wrath and the Sword of Justice.
Well, I didn't have a choice.
So you can blow this artifact up to do siege attack 5, but you can add up to 5 to this siege attack for each one you added. Roll a mana die, and you get a wound for each black or red roll. So that could be siege attack 10.
Right.
Blow it up, siege attack 10. These artifacts are massively powerful.
Yeah.
Same with the spells. I mean, that one you took, Expose, is really good for killing cities. Because you
Right,
just
okay.
get rid of all of their fortifications
Right. Okay. Yeah,
straight
yeah,
away.
yeah.
So suddenly they're not fortified, and then you can go in with the red
Imagine have
attack.
both of them then. Blood Rage
Yeah.
to attack 9, and then
Sword of
double the
Justice.
contribution of all physical attacks you play during
Yeah.
your attack phase this turn. Enemies lose physical resistance this turn.
Yeah.
So 18.
This is
attack.
where it all adds up. Anyway, we are done. Thank you very much for coming over. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to teach it again.
Yeah, thank you.
Thoroughly enjoyed that. Thank you to everybody in the chat for joining in. I hope you found it useful, and if you're watching this video afterwards, then I hope you found it useful as well. Again, this was just the first reconnaissance scenario, just a little bit of a teaser for what the full game holds if you were to play the full game. If you've got any questions about the game, please let me know. If you've got any rules questions about the game, please post them on BGG rather than send them to me, because there are people out there who know the rules of this game better than I do now, because as I say, I've not played it in a long time. And as always, thank you very much to all of my Patreon supporters for making these videos possible. And if you like my content, please like and subscribe to the channel and consider supporting me on Patreon. And next week, lots more live playthroughs. Glenmore 2, Age of Steam, Runestones, Bus, and a couple of the ones that I haven't announced yet. But yeah, more live stuff coming for the rest of November and for December. And that's everything. So yeah, until next time, thank you very much for everybody for joining me.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Bye.
Gaming Rules is proudly sponsored by Game Toppers, upgrading your gaming experience. Visit GameToppersLLC.com.